And welcome back to Arnold.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello and welcome to Arnold Anderson Stadium here in lovely Brantford, Ontario, for your IBL action between the home Brantford Red Sox and the visiting Guelph Royals. Today will be the third game of the Brantford Red Sox young season as they take on the Royals in their second effort of the new 2025 campaign. Today on the call, walking you through the entire game, is going to be myself, Marshall Crocker. Joined alongside me is Jeffrey Brando. And, well, we're in for what should be a pretty important game for both these two teams, as both teams a big zero in the winners column so far in the early year. 2 losses so far for the Brantford Red Sox, both 1-point losses in each of their last 2 efforts. A scoreless effort for Guelph Royals started off their season. They were 7-0 in a loss against the London Majors. So, Jeffrey, what are you looking to see today from this Brantford Red Sox team getting it kicked off in this early phase of the season? You don't want to start similar to last year.
No, obviously not. And Brantford was the team that unfortunately missed the playoffs last year, and they're looking to scramble their way, find their way back into the middle of the pack at the start of the season. And, you know, they've got a good young crew. They're a lot better talent-wise than they were last year. So it's going to be interesting. Now, you mentioned those 2 losses. They were by, just a run, including a walk-off or last at-bat loss at Hamilton a couple of days ago. But you can see that the talent is there, and they're just trying to build and get ready and try to get back to the playoffs.
And then in terms of shifting the other way, looking at the Guelph Royals making the same 45-minute trip we did here to Brantford, Ontario, looking at what they're seeing today, you're coming off a finals appearance in the IBL playoffs last year. They were unfortunately came up just short, and then started the season off again with that 0-7 loss I talked about last week against London. So do you think that sticks with you at all after that first game? Do you think they're going to kind of need to reset here, or do you think a team that good, they can only regress so far in one offseason?
I had a chance before the game to talk with Dino Rommel, the manager of this Guelph Royals squad, and he had mentioned, yes, it was 7-0, and yes, Victor Piano had an excellent game on the mound, but Guelph kind of, they booted. They had 4 errors in that game, 3 of them on bunts and 1 on a rundown. So it's inexcusable, but the best is still yet to come. Once July, this Guelph Royals team is going to get a lot of players to come in and a lot of reinforcements to come in as some of their players will go off to college. This is still this is also a very young team, as well as they've got a couple collegiate commits, one to Texas Tech and one to I forget the other one, but there's quite a few still youngins on this squad.
Most certainly, they'll improve. Yeah, you got to think over the course of this long IBL regular season here in 2025. Getting you ready for the top of the first here in today's action. It's going to be Pedro Dios Santos taking the mound here for the Brantford Red Sox to open up the first. The left-hander is getting ready, and it looks like we got the Guelph Royals batting lineup ready to go. Today going to be led off by Tommy Hanger Jr., number 2, the shortstop for the Royals.
Leading off the first for the Royals, the shortstop, number 2, Tommy Hanger.
Getting ready to go here. He takes position behind home plate umpire Jacob Galvao. Is going to be calling balls and strikes, doing all the dirty work there. And it is going to be dirty here, Jeffrey. Today we get less ideal weather than we had for the home opener. A little bit overcast, about 15 degrees, and very windy.
The most important part you mentioned is the wind, as that's in for a strike.
Going to get a called strike here on his very first pitch of the day. Does Dios Santos. Going to be an 0-1 count.
Wind is blowing. It looks like towards the left hand or towards the center field, so balls could fly out of here.
Lefty-lefty matchup here to get us kicked off, and it's already 0-2. Good pitcher's count here for Dios Santos. Kicks and deals. Going to be wide outside off the plate. Going to be 1-2. Tommy Hanger Jr. going to be leading us off today. Speedy shortstop, looking to get on base and try to start off dangerous just like the Royals did last week. Going to be ball 2, now a 2-2 count. Yeah, great first inning there for the Royals in that again, 7-0 loss we talked about to start the season with the Majors. Got a guy on second base, unfortunately got picked off there in the first inning, and that was really one of their best scoring chances of the day. See if they can do it again, and that'll be our first strike of the day. Dios Santos right down the plate. Swinging strike. We'll see our first batter retired. J.D. Williams, the center fielder for the Royals, will come up to the plate.
That's a great job there by Dios Santos, turning up the offense just a bit on that fastball and blowing it past Tommy Hanger.
And that's what the Red Sox want to see, starting off, behind in a couple of these games to start the year. You want to really make an impression here in your first inning. Going to be inside on that first pitch. Going to see a 1-0 count this time. Dos Santos kicks and deals. That'll be a called strike. Low, but he got him in the zone there. 1-1 count here to Williams.
Williams from Brampton.
Delivers. Going to go low and inside. Going to be a 2-1 count here. A little more hitter-friendly count than our first batter. And the fourth pitch of the at-bat. Here it comes. Well off the plate there. Catcher can't get a hand on it. That's going to be a 3-1 count here.
Tried to get a hand on it, or at least throw that slider, trying to get him on the front door, but threw it just outside.
It's going to be Noah Roberts catching for the Red Sox today, making his first catcher appearance of the season. And that's going to be a called strike there. Looked a little bit on the edge, but he's going to give it to him. Galvao gives Dos Santos a full count here. Williams, will he make the bold swing here on 3-2? Right down the middle, swing, strikes, second of the game. Dos Santos, back-to-back Ks on the board.
Dos Santos coming back from 3-1 down on that count to strike out J.D. Williams, and that's the third strikeout for Williams in this season in 5 at-bats.
Now it's going to be Andy Leader, the designated hitter, hitting third here for the Royals.
Had one of the 5 hits that the Royals had in that game against London.
One of the few hitters on the team then to have registered a hit to this point in the year. Again, this is the second Royals effort of the season. Dos Santos fires on a 1-0 count. Ball's well hit, but it's sent foul. Should put us here, you'd think, at an even 1-1. We're seeing 2-0 for the moment on the scoreboard, but 1-1 count. Well hit up the middle. It's going to go straight to the shortstop, who ggets it to first. Quick inning for the Brantford Red Sox. Top of the first has gone as well as they could have hoped. And they'll retire the side as they'll get up to bat here. And what has been a relatively successful offense this season, just not in the right innings, Jeffrey, will make their first appearance of the game.
Yeah, they've had a couple of good late chances against that London Majors, or beg your pardon, the Hamilton Cardinals, and got to Fernando Rodney. How about Fernando Rodney making an appearance here in the IBL? You know, that's the sort of the one thing about this league that I love and have loved is all these former and future major leaguers. Let's face it. You know, Scott Diamond used to play for the Minnesota Twins, and he came out of this Guelph Royals organization as well. But all the former major leaguers that still want to try and play in this league, and, you know, obviously it's not, it's not the pros. You aren't getting paid, but it's pretty good.
And what that says to me is a true love for the game, right? I mean, Fernando Rodney's 50th birthday is coming up, and a guy's still out there loving what he's doing plenty of media work, plenty of local interviews there for the Cardinals. Just great to see guys like him still loving the game, and kind of a great ships passing in the night opportunity there for these young players coming up, these 20 and 21-year-olds, getting to learn from a veteran like that. I mean, that's a dream for a relief pitcher.
Well, and we talked about it earlier when we talked about some of the commits for this Guelph Royals team, and they'll have a lot of veterans coming back in July to rely on, and the more advice, the more people that can whisper into your ear and tell you how things are supposed to go, that's a pretty big sign as to what's supposed to happen.
Looking at the action here for the bottom of the first, Jacob Cush is going to be our starting pitcher today for the Guelph Royals, making his first start of the season. Getting warmed up here on the side is your leadoff batter here for the Brantford Red Sox. It's going to be Brody Black, number 4, the right fielder. He'll be kicking us off today, looking to get that offense that, again, has been pretty solid in the grand scheme of the league through these first couple games. But, again, just looking to capitalize a little bit. Maybe going to be more pressure on the pitchers today for Brantford than the hitters. But it's going to be Black. Jeremy Veyu, who's been an absolute star this year, went 4 for 4 in Brantford's first home effort of the season that you may have watched here on YouTube, on IBL Brantford Red Sox YouTube. And then Tim Holick will round us off. He's the only batter with a home run this year for the Brantford Red Sox, and one of the few in the entire league at this point.
We talked about how much, or you talk about how much the offense has changed. Well, this Brantford Red Sox team was last year at a 248 average. The next closest to them were the Hamilton Cardinals. They were 262. That's 14 points off the pace, and that's just not good enough.
Yeah, but new owner Terry Smith has talked a lot about trying to get this team supercharged this year. A lot of turnover here as we see our first ball go wide here. Jacob Cush's first pitch of the day. It's going to be a 1-0 count. But yeah, Terry Smith, new owner, has really talked about trying to revamp this team with such a historic history, 15 championships for the Brantford Red Sox, and that second one will go just high and wide, says Jacob Gallival, home plate umpire. Going to go 2-0.
Jacob Cush on the mound for this Royal squad, one of the top pitchers in the IBL.
That ball is fouled well back towards the parking lot, the way the wind's carrying today. I hope nobody's car has a dent in the front windshield right now, but that'll put us at should be at a 2-1 count here.
5-2 in 13 games last year, 10 of them starts, 67.1 innings pitched, no 1.47 ERA.
Had more wins as the starting pitcher than the Red Sox did all of last season. That's a stat you don't love to see, and the Red Sox are going to look to make him pay for that early on here. 2-2 count. Oh, bit of a bouncer off the ground. Third baseman makes the play on it. Oh, and it'll be an error on the very first fielding attempt of the day for the Royals. Ball slips out of his hand, and Jeffrey, you got to wonder. I know we're talking a little bit about the weather and a little bit about the wind and dirt. We might see some plays like that. Four errors for the Royals in their last game, I believe he said. And today, the weather is not exactly going to play into the fielder's hands.
Well, that's not going to help the fielding percentage, I'll tell you that. I mean, it's just a simple Baltimore chop, and you try and get that out of your glove and into your hand as fast as you can, and sometimes it just doesn't go as you planned, and that's what happened there.
First ball fouled straight back here. Jeremy Veyu making his first appearance of the day. First base, Brody Black taking a minor leadoff. Thinks better of it, takes a step back. He's going to go here. Brody Black, steal attempt. Does he get there? It looks like he will get the no from the third base umpire there, and unfortunately the promising start here for the inning for the Red Sox. Going backwards a little bit, but still a young game. Bayu will take his cuts here.
That's a great job by Anderson Fenwick to nab that runner trying to get in a scoring position. It's a fastball by Cush and good pop time by Fenwick to get him.
Kicks and deals here. Could call it a little bit high. A couple fans here not happy at Arnold Anderson Stadium, but we are going to go to a 1-2 count. Delivers. Swing and strike. Going to be just to the inside, and that'll be your first batter retired for Jacob Cush. Three early strikeouts here.
Third baseman.
Getting ready here for third baseman Tim Hole. Like I talked about a few moments ago, Jeffrey, only batter on the season so far with a home run for the Brantford Red Sox, but the ball travels a lot easier in a couple other stadiums than it does here at Arnold Anderson. See what he can do in his first effort of the day.
Well, Viyu's still up because he fouled that ball, so it actually is a foul here.
You're absolutely right. We'll kick it off here with the what I believe should be the fifth pitch of the at-bat.
So the count runs full on that pitch with the ball.
Bit of confusion here. Jacob Cush will have to refocus. Delivers. Well hit straight to the third baseman. Second of the day. Second early error there for the third baseman. And, well, that's the kind of thing that you talked about with the fielding percentage early in the year, Jeffrey. Two quick errors to start off this game there for third baseman Derek Takamatsu. Not what you want to see if you're a Royals fan.
Yeah, I don't know whether Takamatsu is having problems in the field or he's having problems with the wind or whatever it is, but that's a couple of balls that he should have been able to ground or pick up cleanly, and he just hasn't been able to.
Well, with the last batter confusion in the rearview mirror, Tim Holick's going to come up, number 7, the third baseman. Talked about his power he's displayed early on in the season. And on the first base will be Jeremy Veyu, getting ready to make him pay here. We'll see if we see similar plate discipline on the steal that we did with the first batter of the day, getting picked off there on second. and is our currently only out of the inning in the top or the bottom of the first, I should say.
2 hits in the game against Hamilton, going 2 for 3, including a home run, bringing in 3.
Well hit. That's going to go foul off to the right side. Similar parking lot concerns here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Number of cars over there. I believe it may have hit a vehicle, but another foul here. Brantford doing a good job to make contact. Just not quite getting it downfield the way they would have liked. The only 2 balls of the inning that were in play were both grounders, but luckily both resulted in errors from the third baseman.
That also means that they're not being able to square up Jacob Cush just yet.
Cush deals a little bit high, so we'll have to see a 2-2 count here. Relatively good job keeping the ball over the plate here for Cush so far. Good power, but again, just getting a little bit unlucky here on a couple of those locations has resulted in some early action for the Brantford offense. Holick with the fifth pitch, I should say, of the inning. Deals inside on the batter. Barely catches the bat, almost got him in the hand there, but Holick moves out of the way in time. It's going to go foul. We'll stay 2-2.
That's where you think your lucky stars, you at least got a piece of the bat on.
Yes. Yes, you do. Plus, the worst time, Jeffrey, to whack your hand off a ball go out of a game is in your very first at-bat.
And especially on a day like this where it's cold and you'll feel that right up your hand.
Yes, you will. Here we see 6th pitch of the at-bat here for Jacob Cush. Looking to retire his second batter right down the plate. Going to call it a little bit high. Yet another full count here for Cush. That pitch count here in the first inning getting a little bit high, but again, we're seeing that good power. He is fighting them in the zone here early on. Deals for pitch 7. It's going to go outside. That'll be a walk there. Tim Holick is going to take his place on first base. The runner on first will advance, and now runners on first and second. And it's going to be first baseman Chris Ortega making his way to the plate here to bat 4th for the Red Sox. Seeing some good offense here early on, and it's one of those days. I don't mean to speak about the weather here too much, but the forecast doesn't look like we're going to see much better conditions as the game goes on. You always consider weather becoming a factor potentially, but should be no rain in the forecast foreseeably, so we'll hope the game goes the normal prescribed length. Takes a quick look at first. Well, once again, a little bit of contact goes the wrong way. Going to go back over us here in the media stand at the Arnold Anderson Stadium. Going to be an 0-1 count to start here for Ortega. By my count, this will be the 15th pitch of the inning for Jacob Cush.
Ortega 2 for 9 on the season in his first year here in the IBL. Everything Cush is throwing right now, if he hasn't been able to hit the strike zone, has been a little bit high, so maybe he's just a little bit overamped trying to find that strike zone.
Taking a few quick hacks here is Chris Ortega, even 1-1 count here. Runners still on first and second. Fires. A little bit low that time. They're going to call it right in the zone there. It'll be a 1-2 count. There you go, Jeffrey. You heard you starting to move that pitch selection a little bit low.
Maybe throw the target just a little bit lower, and it'll eventually weigh itself out.
Fires again. Once again inside, almost on the hands there on a batter. Seeing that pitch location a little bit high and definitely a little bit tight on the batter's hands, but if you're trying to limit power, that's what you want to be doing here with 2 runners on base. It'll be the 5th pitch of the at-bat here. Once again, inside on the hands, makes a little bit of contact, and the runners are going to advance. Tagged out there at third will be Jeremy Vayo, I should say. The runner on first will advance, so runner on second here as we get both outs, so we'll end the inning here in the bottom of the first. The Brantford Red Sox held scoreless, just as the Guelph Royals were, and we'll see a scoreless first inning here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Welcome back here to Brantford Red Sox baseball here in the IBL. For those of you watching on YouTube or on local cable, thank you for tuning in today. We're getting set for the second of our 9 innings today. Today at the top of the second, we'll be started off here with the Guelph Royals hitter. That'll be number 15, Liam Wilson. First baseman facing Pedro Dios Santos. Santos kicks and fires. Gonna go right down the middle. Called strike one.
Wilson didn't have a great start to the season. 2 strikeouts, 0 for 4 in the game against London, but he has been one of the best hitters in the entire IBL.
Wilson hitting in that 4 spot. We'll get a ball just high there on the second pitch of the at-bat. Dios Santos, third pitch. Swing and strike. Gets just under the bat there. Nice little movement there on that that pitch by Dios Santos. Going to go to a 1-2 count. Wilson getting set here. Dios Santos the long windup. And he'll step off. Liam Wilson will take a moment to think better of it.
De Los Santos, the left-hander from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Played rookie ball with the New York Mets. 8 years of experience here in the IBL.
Fires going to go well low in the dirt there for ball number 2. 2-2 count here, and again, we talk about the variety in players from, different backgrounds and different skill sets, but the level of international involvement from all over the world here in the IBL is just awesome to see, particularly on these 2 teams looking through the batting lineup early on. Fires. Dios Santos going to go low once again. Going to be a full count here, 3-2.
And you saw that with one of the new Guelph Royals pitchers in Ueda, Japanese native who had pitched in Colombia a couple years ago, was supposed to play in Ottawa this year, but now is here playing his trade in Guelph.
Ball hit. Going to go straight to the shortstop. We'll see if he can make the play here. First base, and he will be in time. He'll record the out, and that'll be the first successful fielding play of the day. Some of the fielders are having trouble there from that side of the third baseman shortstop area, but they will retire the first batter, will the Red Sox. Next up, we're going to see Garrett Takamatsu, third baseman here, number 4. Was having a little bit of trouble out there in the field, but we'll see if he finds more success here early on with the bat.
Max Smarter making a nice play and an even better scoop by the first baseman, Ortega.
Fouled off once again. Hard hit ball into the parking lot. Going to go another 0-1 count early on. Dios Santos getting a little bit more contact here early on than Jacob Cush has. Hasn't bit him so far. No base runners yet for the Royals. Going to go low and inside, but it's a swing and strike. 0-2 count here for Dios Santos. Getting himself in some good pitcher's counts here early on. Looking for his first third K of the day.
Takamatsu, a former Toronto Maple Leaf, had 2 of the team's 5 hits against London.
Once again, going to be fouled off to the right, keeping the at-bat alive here. David Alvarez, the right fielder, waiting on deck here for the Royals. Alrighty, fourth pitch here coming from Dios Santos. Fires going to be a little low. They're going to call it a ball. 1-2 count here for Dios Santos.
Try to get him to chase, and a good job by Takamatsu not to.
We've seen batters already early on today, Jeffrey, fight back from pretty pitcher-friendly counts. We'll see if we can see it again here from Takamatsu. Santos fires. We'll see a swing, and we'll see another strikeout. Third of the day for Pedro Dios Santos. Takamatsu's retired, and as we mentioned, up to bat, here comes David Alvarez.
Fielder number 24, David Alvarez.
Going to see a lefty-lefty matchup here for our third batter of the inning.
Getting the start after just 1 at-bat in the game against London.
Called strike 1 here, says Jacob Galval. We'll see a 0-1 count, and again, we talked about it, Jeffrey, held scoreless in their first game where the Royals. They're going to be starting to feel the pressure here as right as I say it, lined out, caught well by the right fielder. And that'll be yet another out. Third of the inning, and the Brantford Red Sox looking good here defensively to start off. They'll head out to bat for the second of their 2 bottom of the innings today.
6 up, 6 down already for De Los Santos, and you started to mention about how Guelph's offense has sputtered. Well, that's now 11 innings without a run coming home.
That is the absolute worst way to start a year. I think if you could pick any set of innings to have that 11 inning scoreless streak, it would not be to start off your season. But again, we talked about only so much turnover for this Royals team, made the IBL playoff finals last season. You got to have a little bit of internal confidence, I think, as a unit, but you got to be ready to learn and say, whatever's not working for us, we got to get out of this offensive kind of slump we've been in. And sometimes that's one swing of the bat. One home run can change everything. But right now, Pedro Dios Santos on the mound for the Red Sox, making him pay for it. He wants the team's first win of the year. Jacob Cush will return to the mound here for the bottom of the second inning. Going to be led off here by Noah Roberts, the catcher making his, I believe, first appearance catching this season for the Red Sox.
I think the Red Sox will try and clean up all the mistakes that they made. I mean, Guelph led them with 2 errors in that, and they couldn't get a runner to third because they had a guy gunned down on essentially a swinging strike, and for some reason they had a runner try to advance when the ball really didn't even go that far.
Yeah, I just don't want to put the base running discipline here. You want to kind of clean it up here a bit. If you're Brantford, Jeff Lounsbury, the manager, maybe he needs to talk to his team and just say, I understand you really have that pressure on you with starting off 0-2, some of the lack of success last season. You want to get offense early, but sometimes you just got to do it with the bat rather than the feet. Cush deals for his first pitch at the bottom of the second. Low and outside. It's going to be ball 1 here. And Noah Roberts, catcher number 22 here for the Red Sox, making his first appearance at catcher this season. I believe he's played first base in the first 2 games of our year. Second pitch of the at-bat. Doesn't go around, but it's a called strike anyway. 1-1 here to Roberts.
And at this point, station-to-station baseball, especially early on in a game, get the players on, get them over, get them in.
Oh, popped up here. Center fielder will make the play on it. As that'll be our first out of the inning. Roberts pops up there to center fielder J.D. Williams for the Royals. Nick Burdett going to make his first cuts of the day. The number 25 is going to be out here looking to get Guelph, shaking in their boots a little bit here early in a game. Like Brantford, as I mentioned earlier, really hasn't done. They've had to make these late game comebacks in their first couple efforts, and that puts some pressure on a team, gets in your nerves. Let's see what he can do here in his first pitch of the at-bats. Outside, ball 1.
If there's anybody who you would describe as a veteran here in the IBL, you're looking at the guy at the plate.
Nick Burdett here. Going to get a called strike there. It looked a little wide, but borderline. Jacob Galvao is going to give Cush his strike there, so 1-1 count. Delivers. Popped out left and behind us. Going to get some contact on it is Nick Burdett, veteran for the Red Sox.
Passed over 1,400 career at-bats combined in the last game against Hamilton. That includes the playoffs as well. So,
12 IBL seasons for Burdett. That's going to be a called strike 3. Burdett doesn't like the call, has a quick word, but he will move on. Cush, I believe, registers his second strikeout of the game. And here comes the second baseman, Lucas Bateman, going to make his first cuts of the day. Getting warmed up here. Cush with a quick delivery. First pitch of the at-bat. A little bit low for ball 1.
Went 2 for 4 with a strikeout in the last game against the London Majors. Did not play against the Cardinals.
Fires for second hit. Again, going to go off to the right side. Fouled off here by Bateman. Put us in a 1-1 count here, and it really does feel like Cush has that good power here early on, Jeffrey, but starting to lose his location a little bit. I think batters are kind of catching up to it and making good contact as that ball's going to go a little bit high, going to be a called ball 2.
The hardest thing for pitchers is sometimes you're just a little amped up. First start of the year, you got to try to find location versus power. Which one of them will rule the day?
Fourth pitch here, hit right up the middle. Gap between the infielders, he'll get there. Shortstop over the head of the first baseman. Bateman is safely on first base runner of the inning, and another, I believe that'll be fielding error number 3 here early on for the Royals.
So 7 errors now in 11 innings. or perhaps 10 innings because London didn't have to play that 9th inning. But those are free base runners that if you're the Royals, you just cannot afford to happen.
Here comes Schmarter, the shortstop here for Guelph. Big hack on that first pitch of the at-bat. Got to go 0-1. Schmarter, I believe, a new face to the team. Been signed in the last couple of weeks, so going to try to get his respective yips out of the way. The same way a lot of players today seem to be a little on edge to start off the day. Going to be a strike looking there for 0-2. Cush looking for his third strikeout of the effort. And he gets it. Swing and strike for the Red Sox shortstop, Max Schmarter. And that'll end the inning. Bottom of the second is going to go the same way the top of the bottom of the first did for the Red Sox. They're held scoreless, and we have a 0-0 game coming into the third inning. We'll see you guys back in just a couple moments. And welcome back to Brantford Red Sox IBL Baseball here, live from the Arnold Anderson Stadium in Brantford, Ontario. Getting set for the top of the third here. Pedro Dios Santos still on the mound. And the Guelph Royals looking to get on the board for the first time in both this young game and the young season. Steps off for the called strike there. Looked a little outside, but again, favorable call there for Pedro Dios Santos. We'll get ahead in the count early on.
Ethan Hammond batted .304 last year.
The left fielder, big swing on 0-1, going to make it 0-2.
And it's a good job by De Los Santos, 6 up, 6 down through the first 2 innings of play. This Guelph offense has been colder than the weather right now.
Most certainly. To the shortstop, once again, textbook play. The Red Sox fielding today, looking electric. The shortstop, Max Schmarter, again, the new acquisition here by the Red Sox. Making his presence known out there in the field, and that'll be our first retirement of the at-bat. Fenwick Jr., the catcher for the Royals, number 13, will make his first appearance today.
Third play made by Schmarter already in 7 at-bats.
Oh, the bunt attempt here is going to go foul. Didn't quite get it squared up the way he wanted. A 1 count there, looking to bunt there on leadoff. Says something a little bit about the approach here. Nobody on base, first out of the inning. Just trying to switch it up, I guess, Jeffrey.
Try to switch it up and try to get a batter on. Going to Connor State as a freshman.
Ball's going to go outside here for the 1-1 even count. And we've seen some mistakes here early on from the Royals fielding, wondering if it's the conditions of the field today, but we haven't really seen it the Red Sox fielding at all because they've had no base runners to deal with.
And I think that goes back to the point that latest error by the Royals. You saw Schmarter, he's made 3 perfect plays, and the Griffin shortstop, Tommy Hanger, he made 1 play and he fumbled it, threw it away. Now, is that a dust thing? Is that whatever that may be? Runner got down the line pretty fast, so probably rushed the throw a little bit.
3-1 count here, swinging strike, going to send us to a full count once again. Dios Santos, that pitch count getting up there. He's facing a lot of 3-2s, but he's got out on the better side of him, I believe, 3 times. 3 of his 4 strikeouts coming on a full count. Deals it a full count here. Gonna go low, gonna call it a ball, and our first base runner of the day will be number 13, Fenwick Jr. making his way to first base.
Well, he tried to bunt his way on to start the at-bat, or at least to the at-bat, but he's able to get on with the free pass.
Carson Burns, the second baseman, will make his first appearance. He'll be the final batter in the order today for the Royals. Dios Santos, first base runner of the day, just allowed. See what he does here on the first pitch. A little bit of movement there on the first baseline for Fenwick, but he will remain, and we'll have our first strike. A 1 count here for Carson Burns.
Batted .276 last year, 8 hits on 29 tries.
Dios Santos inside for ball 1. 1-1 count here, and I hope we're picking it up at home, but there's just a passive dust wave kind of coming back, and it's going in different directions, telling you there's a lot of wind and there's a lot of dirt, and you got to wonder again how that's going to play in the fielding now that the Royals have a man on base.
Which is interesting because the wind now starting to pick up in the outfield as well.
Fielded to second, going to go to second, go to first, double play. We question the fielding. Didn't need to. The Red Sox have looked exceptional for 3 innings. They hold the Royals scoreless. Now 12 innings going to be the scoring slump here to start off the Royals season. And the Red Sox will make their 3rd appearance on offense today.
Real good turn there by the second baseman as these teams trying to figure out what their infield defense looks like.
Well, as our fielders head out today, I just want to take a quick moment to thank our awesome crew here with the IBL Red Sox crew here on YouTube and elsewhere. We got Noah, Ryan, and Neil out there working the cameras today, and we got Brandon, our director, producer extraordinaire. He's doing everything on the stream today. Awesome team we got going here, and we thank them for surviving what has been a chilly, frigid day, even pre-game. It was looking like a game-time decision for rain, and it still looks like it may be in the area, but the forecast as of an hour ago was saying we should be all good. So the scoreless game will continue. The Red Sox looking to make that 0-0 go away. And again, this game is bigger than just this season. I know we talked about 0-2 so far for the Red Sox, but again, Jeffrey, that streak, I don't have the date off the top of my head. It's got to be going back a while. Didn't end 2024 particularly well either. You just want to get a W in the column if you're a Brantford fan.
And you want to do it against one of your biggest rivals in the Guelph Royals as well. So just a quick look around the IBL on the out-of-town scoreboard. The Chatham-Kent Barnstormers are up 4-1 on the road against Kitchener at Jack Couts Park. The London Majors have the same scoreline in Toronto at Dominico Field at Christie Pitts. And the Welland Jackfish are up 1-0 on the Hamilton Cardinals.
Chatham-Kent there early on, 4-1. I know Jack Couch is a pretty hitter-friendly park, but the Barnstormers have looked good in this young season. And if memory serves, they were towards the bottom of the table, at least bottom half last season. So we've talked about, you can only make so much change as a roster and as an organization between an off-season. I know that Terry Smith and the entire Red Sox team trying to do just that, but a lot of the teams from last season flipping their fortunes here early on through 2 or 3 games, and teams like the Royals looking to find the footing they had last year. Ethan Palos, the center fielder, going to make his first cuts of the day. He'll be the final new batter for the Red Sox in this one. Jacob Cush still on the mound. Kicks and fires for the first pitch. Low and outside, ball 1. Palos, one of many Red Sox hitters today, doing a good job at the plate discipline, letting those wide balls go where they may, not swinging it too much off the plate. That one's going to be a called strike, lower end of the strike zone, but he picks the corner there, does Cush, 1-1 count.
3rd year for Palos in a Red Sox uniform.
Oh, and he's hit it pretty well. Going to find the gap. Almost a play on it by the second baseman, but on base goes Ethan Palos. I believe the scorers will put that one up as a hit. Nice little blooper there. Had some pretty good exit velo on it. Right up the gap here between first and second. And once again, the Red Sox got a base runner. The question is, what can they do with it? Brody Black making his second appearance. He got on base there, I believe, on an error on the first at-bat of the day. The pitch from Cush. Well hit once again. That's going to find its way to right field. They'll make a play on it, and back to first base will go Ethan Palos. Good contact to lead off the inning there. Just didn't quite get all of it. As Brody Black is retired, Jeremy Veyu will make his second appearance of the day.
Tried to jump on that first pitch just a little bit early to try and get Cush off guard. you see a pitch you like and you hit it, and for the right fielder, David Alvarez, those tailing balls, those are the hardest to catch for outfielders.
Especially with the wind being a big question today. Didn't feel like it played too much of an effect on that one. But first ball is going to go a little bit wide, a little bit wild. That's going to be a 1-0 count here for Veyu, one of the best hitters in the league in this young season and perhaps in general here for the Red Sox. Not a guy I want to give a batter's count to early on. Second pitch here for Cush. Going to be a called strike. Catcher loses it, but says that's on me. Sends it back. 1-1 count here. Veyu, a little bit of plate discipline here, trying to get that pitch count up high early on for Cush.
40 hits in 38 games last year for Veyu.
That would have been on the top end for the Red Sox as he'll face the third pitch of the at-bat. Swing and strike. Swings on it. Had good movement there. Goes low, and he's got a 1-2 count here. Looking to get on base the second time today, I believe was one of the other beneficiaries of those first inning Royals fielding errors. Cush, the fourth pitch. Going to be a called ball low. Looked on the cusp once again, but Galvo really scrutinizing those low balls and strikes. 2-2 count here. Fired, swinging strike. Cush has got his third K of the day, and Veyu retired, leaving the first baseman, the runner on first. Still in play. Tim Holick once again making his second appearance of the day. The third baseman, again, the only home run on the season for the Red Sox, and did so in a road effort. I'm sure this Brantford home crowd here at Arnold Anderson would love to see a little bit of power to kick off today's game. Fires, going to go low and wide once again. Oh, going to call it a strike. Just lost a hand on it. A little bit of uncertainty here for Fenwick. Has had a couple little drops here, but that's something you can polish up over the course of a game and a season.
Yeah, that'll be a swing strike on Holick as he couldn't hold up in just enough time.
Well hit, going to go straight and up. Should be a pretty easy play here for the right fielder. Alvarez will get under it, and will retire the batter, and thus the side. That'll be 3 relatively quick innings here, and here for IBL Brantford Red Sox baseball, it's not a lead, but it's not a loss. 0-0 here for their third game of the season. Red Sox fans, stay with us here on YouTube or elsewhere. We'll be back in just a few moments here on Red Sox baseball. Welcome back to IBL Brantford Red Sox baseball here. Whether you're watching on YouTube, cable, or anywhere in between, we thank you for joining us here on a very windy, cold, cloudy day here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. It's going to be Tommy Hanger Jr., shortstop for the Royals, making his second at-bat of the day. Dios Santos, pitch right into contact. Second baseman will make an easy play on it, and that's yet again another nice fielding play. Nice and simple, and they get the first out of the fourth inning. Top of the fourth, and the Red Sox still looking impenetrable on defense.
We've been talking throughout the game how quickly this feels, and one and done. The Royals are doing, and they're giving De Los Santos an opportunity to clear out this game as fast as possible.
Yeah. He, like many of you watching at home, probably wants to get home in time for the Toronto Maple Leafs Game 7 tonight. Dio Santos going to kick and deal here. Swing and strike up high and inside. That'll be yet another very pitcher-friendly count here early on in that first pitch. He's doing a great job getting not only speed, but great location on his opening pitches. That one's got a great bit of movement to it. Not going to find its way to the plate. Going to be a 1-1 count, but one of the best sliders for a ball you'll ever see.
0-1 is a lot different than 1-0 in pitchers in the count.
1-1 here. Hit once again into that foul area. There may be one gentleman's car with 3 or 4 balls through the front windshield here. The Royals sending a lot of balls that way.
I'm actually kind of happy I didn't park around here now that I think about it.
I, for one, did. So let's be hopeful, everybody. Well, it's hard to make it home for the Leafs game when your car's at CAA. Dio Santos fires. 1-2 count. That's well hit, and that should be a hit there for the Royals. It'll fall down just in front of the right fielder, who can't quite get the play on it, but no further movement. He'll stop at first base, and that's J.D. Williams making his presence known, getting that Royals offense. The defibrillator's working a little bit. They're coming back to life here slowly but surely, and Andy Leader, designated hitter, will look to do just that and keep the momentum rolling.
Good job by the hitter there, just to take what he got and just throw it into right field, and now the Griffins finally have a hit, or the Royals, finally have a hit.
Low outside for ball 1. Dio Santos, you got to wonder if he's able to hold this Royals team scoreless for much longer, how long he'll go into today's game. The starters for the first 2 efforts for the Red Sox haven't had much tenure here early on. Dio Santos doing a good job early. Going to take a moment to ready himself. Going to take a quick time, and we'll recenter here on the 1-0 count. Oh. Kind of faked him out there with the release. That's going to be strike 1 of the at-bat. Interesting way his release works. It is kind of a natural fake into the pickoff there. The first base runner there looked a little bit scared as that ball was released, but 1-1 count here for Dio Santos. And that time he will make the pickoff attempt to first base. No dice there on that first attempt, and you've only got so many here in the IBL, just like the major leagues. So he'll have to let the first base be a little more here looking forward. But 1-1 count. Andy Leader, designated hitter, in that most valuable spot of the lineup. There goes the base runner, and the catcher can't make a play on it. Roberts just loses the ball there as it gets to him. So there you go. J.D. Williams gets on base and finds his way to second. The Royals, he's doing the dirty work there, getting around the bases without the need for hitting help.
Had 5 steals against the Brantford Red Sox head-to-head against them last year. So Dio Santos knew it was coming, and he just couldn't stop him.
He is a known threat there on the base pass. His Leader will finally ground it out to first base, but the runner will advance. So for the first time today, we have a runner on third base here in this game, but a defensive and very pitcher-friendly matchup here early on. And it'll be the first baseman, Liam Wilson. You talked about his success in previous seasons here, Jeff, and he's probably the guy you want if you're the Royals, if you want that third baseman to score and get on the board again, not just for the first time today, but for the first time in this 2025 season.
Cleanup spot now, so important. Now, I mean,
not much to clean up here.
Yeah,
the
batting orders and batting lineups have changed so much over the years. It used to be, your speedster up top, followed by one of your best hitters, and then your best hitter, and then your power hitter, and everything is sort of changed now. You see a lot of best hitters as your number 1 and even number 2 guys.
Whatever Aaron Judge is hitting for the Yankees, that's a valuable position in today's baseball lineups. Dio Santos kicks and deals on a 1-0 count. Ball's going to be sent foul once again into the path of oncoming cars. Believe it once again dodged it. May need to get a car camera out there in the first base line for future games. That's currently the most interesting aspect of the offense here for the Royals.
I'm surprised that there's actually not a net up
a little
to catch.
bit, eh? Especially because we have one of our cameramen out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's doing well. Shout out to Ryan out there at the first base line.
And they all been here to the right side as well.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if that's a win thing, as that's going to go off the batter. Liam Wilson's going to make his way to first base. Now runners on the corners for the Royals. A ball went off the batter's arm and then right out of play. Dios Santos, that location we were kind of championing there early on, starting to go away here a little bit. Got a chance here against Takamatsu, the third baseman, to get himself back in it. Taking his first cuts here is Takamatsu's second appearance of the day. Runners on the corners.
This will be the 50th pitch of the game for De Los Santos.
And that'll be low and inside for ball number 1.
20 balls, 30 strikes.
Relatively solid count there, you got to say. Probably a little bit favorable to Jacob Cush, though Cush has had a little bit more velocity early on the mound for the Royals. Dios Santos, second pitch. 1-0 count, going to go 2-0. Going to go up and high to the outside. Kicked a big mound of dust, and luckily the wind's died down here a little bit, which is not what the Royals want to see. They're in a good offensive position, and the Red Sox defense with 2 outs, you got to think they're feeling pretty all right. Dios Santos 2-0 here. That's well hit right in the gap between center and right. The Royals are on the board here. That'll be fielded, should make their way to the corners once again. Looks identical to pre-play, but that's a runner on the board for the Guelph Royals. They are finally on the board for the first time in this young IBL season. And it's the man himself, Garrett Takamatsu. A little bit of question marks early with the fielding errors in that first inning, but he is back on offense. Gets the first RBI for the Royals.
Well, that's one way to make amends for the first inning errors by driving in your first run in this season.
A run saved is a run earned, but no runs given up is favorable to scoring one yourself. That's going to go high and inside for 1-0 count here for Dios Santos. Another lefty-lefty matchup. This time it's against David Alvarez, the right fielder.
De Los Santos has lost his control just a little bit. He needs something right across the plate right now.
Keeping an eye here on the Red Sox bullpen, as that's going to go just in the zone there on the low side. Going to get the call there from Galval, the home plate umpire. 1-1 count here. Still not in a very favorable position here. The Red Sox still have men on the corners, 2 outs. Dios Santos fires. That's a swinging strike, a big hack there, but nice movement by Dios Santos. When he gets in the zone, he makes that ball spin. Just got to make sure he's doing so into the zone. Good plate discipline here from the Royals in these last 2 innings.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered for De Los Santos. If he does it again, he'll retire at the side.
Would be his 5th strikeout of the day. Kicks and fires. Ball not quite caught by Roberts. They're going to call it a ball, so we're going to have a 2-2 count here. Still in play here for Dios Santos.
Overthrew that one just a little bit, trying to get Alvarez to chase, and a good eye by Alvarez to hold on.
Alvarez, he's been great in the field. Let's see if he can do the same on offense. Fires. Going to call it a little bit high. And as we've said many times today, full count once again. Dios Santos, that pitch count you said was at 50 a few ago. It's climbing here in the 4th inning, and well, Dios Santos, I was kind of alluding to potentially could see our first long game of the year for a Red Sox starter.
Biggest point of the game.
That is getting on the fence here. Full count. Both runners go, but the ball's a strike. 5th K of the day there for Dios Santos. And that will retire the side, but not without giving up one. 1-0 is the count here for the Guelph Royals at the top of the 4th. First run of the day. And once again, Jeff, I mean, the Red Sox, they're doing well in offense. It's just not at the beginning of games. Find themselves behind once again as they get a chance to make reparations in the 4th inning.
This is where the 3 stranded runners that the Red Sox have had, they've left at least one in every inning thus far, comes back to bite them as De Los Santos just couldn't find his control for the most part in that. And again, that's a sign of perhaps a little bit of fatigue. It's still early in the season. We don't expect, I think I saw somebody of Barry in the championship series last year throw like 136 pitches, which you can do that here in the IBL. That's allowed, unlike other places where, 100's the cutoff.
Yep.
But, if you don't throw 100 to 36 to 150 pitches, you're not doing your job as a starting pitcher. I remember a guy named Justin Cicerello. He played for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He once threw 150 pitches in a playoff game.
Holy.
And I'm like, you wouldn't be able to do that anywhere else.
There's some elite relievers that won't throw that in a year, and you're doing it in a game. That's some impressive conditioning. Easier to do in the playoffs, where mentally you're draining the tank. You got a whole offseason to look ahead to. These pitchers here, I mean, as Jacob Cush warms up for his 4th inning of the day, you got a long season ahead of you here. You got to think maybe 7 or 8 starts somewhere in that ballpark if you're playing on the usual 5-man rotation, and. You got to think, like, for teams like the Red Sox, this win, early on going 0-3, that means a lot more to them. Thinking the way they came out of last season and didn't start off well, got those couple wins kind of middling throughout the year. But for the Royals, you kind of expect excellence. You kind of expect what you had last season to carry on. And, I think going down 0-2, 2 losses to start off the year, I think that may stick with you a little bit more.
Well, the Royals didn't really have the greatest start. Didn't have the regular season that they wanted. They finished 4th in the regular season and just got hot at the end after having the best pitching and the best fielding, which, kind of ironically enough, after 12 innings, having 7 errors in the field.
Well hit here, first hit of the inning. Chris Ortega is going to put that one.
Foul.
Just foul, like heartbreakingly foul. Sitting on the grass. You got to think that one missed by about 2, maybe 3 feet. Ortega almost giving the Red Sox fans their first home run of the year.
Ortega turns and burns, but he turns too hard and he ends up into the lazy boy seats over there.
Couldn't tell if that was in front of or behind the fence there, but nice little area there. Maybe the relief pitchers that don't see themselves getting playing time should see if that area is available. Here we go, refocusing. Chris Ortega got to get himself back in it, and especially if you're Cush, he almost gave up a pretty big long ball there. Very favorable down the middle pitch. 0-1. Low and outside. Once again, the catcher can't quite make his way to that, and that's going to be yet another 1-1 count. It feels like Jacob Cush always starts pretty equilibrium, and then from there it either goes one way or the other.
Cush went 5 innings in his only appearance against the Red Sox last year, giving up 2 hits and 2 walks, fanning 7.
Like he was accidentally aiming for that spot he left in the dirt last time. Looked almost identical there on third pitch of the at-bat, so we're going to see 2-1 here. Kicks and fires. Another well-hit ball. This time it'll go through. Ortega finds the gap between the shortstop and the third baseman, and he is on base. The Red Sox looking to respond to that top of the inning offense from the Royals, and now it'll be the catcher. Noah Roberts going to make his way out there once again. Done a pretty great job defensively here early on today. Is going to need to do the same on offense to get our new base runner, Chris Ortega there, who thought he had himself a free trip around the bases, needed to settle for a single here, but great hitting prowess there from Ortega in that all-valuable 4th spot in the order. First pitch for Cush. Finds its way once again outside. Having a little bit of trouble locating the zone here is Cush, just like we talked about with Dios Santos. Feels like that fall off is the cliff sounds like somewhere around the 4th inning here. He's going to make the attempt. Going to try to get the pickoff on Ortega, but no dice. He really didn't have that big of a leadoff. Ortega, first basemen don't tend to be much of a threat on the base paths, but clearly they're giving Ortega his credit as we get ready for the second pitch here. Even further outside. That's, I believe, 6 balls in a row here.
The same thing happened with De Los Santos, where you just happen to lose your feel for the strike zone for a little bit. You need something to find that box.
Well, squared up here does Cush once again. Going to go low and outside. And you got to think if you're the batter here now, hitter count, you're 3-0 for Noah Roberts, and he's just working that ball a little bit more and more, trying to find the outside of the plate. You might want to be waiting for one just off the outside. Fires. That one will call a strike, so he found it. He looked in about the same pitch. Looks like he's really trying to get that little bit of movement there, that slider in, trying to find its way to the outside of the plate, and he found success there. 3-1 count here to Roberts. Once again, makes good contact. Roberts going to send that one off a little bit further left of the lazy boy chairs. I believe a fan there in the outfield is going to make the catch on that one. So it's going to send us to what the scoreboard calls a 3-1 here.
They just haven't changed it. It is 3-2.
Full count here from Cush. Gonna send that ball outside. Once again, found the plate, then lost his way off it. Gonna walk the runner Roberts to first base. Gonna have first and second here as Nick Burdett, the veteran, number 25. The designated hitter getting ready to go here.
Number 25, Nick Burdett.
This is a spot here for the Red Sox where Burdett, the veteran, needs to get wood on this ball to try and bring in the runner. Is Cush, again, starting to have a little bit of problems. You know, a single and a walk already in this inning.
Last thing you want to do is ground into the double play here. That one's going to go off the plate again. Cush, that one spot, just can't find his way off of it. But again, the power and movement's still there. Just got to find the location. 1-0 count here to Burdett. A little bit low, says home plate umpire Jacob Guelph. That'll be a 2-0 count. And you got to think, I see a pitcher there getting ready to warm up for the Red Sox, and you got to think the Royals are doing the same. They do have some movement there in the bullpen, so 2-0 count to Burdett. That one is well struck, but unfortunately puts it right to the left field. They're trying to find a play on it. No sun to get lost in, and he will make the play. The Royals, you know, starting to get some momentum here with the fielding. Ethan Hammond makes the play on that one, and that'll hold the runners at first and second. Lucas Bateman back up here. He got on base here in his first at-bat of the day. Going to look to either load the bases or even better, get a run on the board for the Red Sox. Trying to tie this thing up after the top of the inning. Saw the first Royals score of the year. Cush getting ready. Sends that one offside on the other end of the plate. Going to be ball one. 1-0 count here for Bateman.
Another one of those pitches where he just overamps up a little bit.
It's hard not to let your emotions factor into it, you know, at this point in the game, especially, you know, first start, you're trying to get your team their first win. Nerves are high, and they're showing a little bit in the location. That one is sent straight back over our heads, and a little bit of contact, as we talked about. A little bit of struggle here early on for Brantford barreling up these balls, but they're getting to Cush. They're finding the location. They're timing them up a little better. This will be a 1-1 count here this time for Bateman. Cush will fire. All right, in the middle, a little low. Going to go ball for a 2-1 count here.
I wonder if Cush is starting to get a little bit angry on the mound. You see him taking a little bit extra time, wanting to get some of these pitches, and they're just not going for him.
He sees a reliever warming up in his peripheral, too. You got to think he's going to try to prove himself here, as that's going to go well over the head, finds the gap in the outfield, and Red Sox should be on the board. He'll get the go. Runner coming for home. A cloud of dust obscures the catcher, which lets us score. The Red Sox are on the board. The home fans are excited, and Arnold Anderson Stadium has yet another base runner for the home side. Runners on the corners, and Ortega will be the first runner to score for the Red Sox.
Well, the Red Sox respond right away as Ortega comes around to score on the single there by Bateman, and that allows the other runner, Roberts, on the error, perhaps. I don't know if they'll give him one officially to the right fielder who ran over that ball, but in on the hands and a good job fighting it off and getting on base.
Cush will stay in. Should see that one for a called strike, and does. 0-1 count here. Runners on the corners. Now a 1-1 ball game. And that miniature Brantford Dust Bowl is kicking up again. You're starting to see the wind whirling around the mound and third base area. Fires for 0-1. Fouled off into the parking lot once again. 0-2 count. First pitcher-friendly count. Cush has seen in a little bit. Needs to execute. Needs to start getting himself out of this inning if he doesn't want to be pulled. Max Schmarter, 0-2 count. Inside on the hands. It's going to be a ball. They're going to call it a little bit high. 1-2 count here for Schmarter.
Schmarter from Buffalo went to Tusculum University, rookie year.
And he'll take a big hack at it there on pitch 4, and it'll be strike 3 for Jacob Cush. He's going to have his 5th strike out of the game, and it feels like a volatile one for Cush. Either he's really on it, he has a quick at bat and gets the batter right quivering in his boots, or it's a long at bat that often results in a ball. Been a little bit up and down, but we talked about the emotions. Cush maybe starting to find his way back in. It's going to be Ethan Paulos here. He'll look at a ball outside off the plate. 1-0 here.
Palos 1 for 1 already. Had a single back in the third.
That dust starting to kick up again. Can feel it here in the commentary booth. The wind is whirling. Cush takes a moment, but deals. Paulos going to go fouls it off. Almost caught white line, but no dice. It'll be a 1-1 count.
Now that was the 72nd pitch from Cush in 3 2/3 innings. There's 42 strikes, 30 balls.
Well, he could play the full game at that pace and beat the records you talked about, but I'd imagine the Royals are not going to give him that much leash. As another ball goes outside, 2-1 count now for Paulos.
I think you're going to see a bullpen game coming up really soon here, especially at the top of the fifth. It'd be interesting to see what the Red Sox do with De Los Santos.
I see a reliever that looks ready there in the Royals bullpen. Cush deals on 2-1. That one's going to get just off the edge of the plate, and they're going to call it a strike. 2-2. See a little bit of noise from the crowd here at Arnold Anderson. 2-2 count here for the Red Sox. Runners on the corners. Delivers. Off the edge. Full count once again. 3-2. It'll be Cush's 74th of the day. He's creeping his way up there, and Paulos doing a good job waiting on it.
Roz will go on the pitch here. 3-2 with 2 out. And if Paulos can get wood on the ball, this could be a big inning for the Red Sox.
Big pitch coming here. Both runners will go. Paulos right up the gap. You called it there. Runner's going to go to third base. Fielding error. Gets the green light. He's going, and he'll go home. 2 on the board. Makes it 3-1 here for the Red Sox. The home fans like what they see. The center fielder's got 2. I believe the third baseman's got 2. Fielding errors getting handed out like candy. Same candy you'd see here at lovely Arnold Anderson Stadium. But the Royals, again, that fielding discipline is going to be, might be their downfall here. Brody Black, first batter to see his third at-bat of the day, and 3-1 now for the home side. The Royals and Cush may look to make a change as there he comes. The manager going to finally pull the trigger on a pitcher switch. We're going to see a reliever come in for Cush, who might just be a mound visit, but you got to think they've had a guy warming up there for a fairly long while.
Well, we're into 75 pitches, 43 strikes, 32 balls for Cush in 3 2/3 innings, and it does look like it's going to be a mound visit just to try and settle down the ace pitcher for this Royal squad. That's a really good job here by the Brantford Red Sox to try and get to their team or try and get to Cush, and they did immensely. A single, a walk, a fly out, a single, a strikeout, and another single, and then again another defensive error. Royals with 3 officially errors in this game. 1 run, 2 hits for Guelph, 3 errors, 3 runs, 5 hits for Brantford.
Yeah, Guelph manager Dino Ramel going to give a little bit longer for Cush to stay out there. We'll see if he can make some momentum back up. Now only a runner at first. First pitch is going to go by. Brody Black has had plenty of time to figure Cush out at this point. Usually 4 innings. You don't like to see a guy for a third time if you're a pitcher, but Black will get his third attempt of the day. 0-1, now 0-2. Cush doing a good job after that mound visit. Maybe a little bit recentered like you were suggesting there.
And not only is it three times to the order, it's 3 times in 4 innings as well.
Here comes 0-2, and going to go 1-2. Jacob Galvao, a little bit of displeasure here, but Galvao is going to give it to him. So 1-2 count here. Brody Black staying in. First baseman taking a little bit of a lead. Here he comes, fouled off to the right side. That one more directly over the fence there around first base. Got a cameraman out there, and the bullpen would have got a bit of a scare on that one as well. 1-2 count, keeps it alive. Brody Black doing a good job keeping the pitch going. The 1-2 delivery. Right down the middle, but a little bit too high, says Jacob Galvo. That one's going to go 2-2. Home plate umpire giving a few here to Brody Black. We'll see if he can make him pay.
Cush now all around that strike zone, but just can't find it. He's getting close, but umpire hasn't given him.
Will the search find fruit here? No, it won't. That's going to go low and a little bit outside. Full count. I feel like a broken record, but we're seeing a lot of 3-2s here on this Royals pitching side. Brody Black, we'll see if he can check up on a ball or if he's going to watch a strike go right by him. A full count. Cush fires. In on the hands, but he will make the swing at it. That'll end the inning. The Royals get out with only a little bit of damage, but that is a 3-1 lead for your Brantford Red Sox. Everybody watching at home, hopefully you're enjoying the offense starting to pick up here a little bit for Brantford, looking for their first win of 2025, looking to get on the board in this new season. We'll see you right back here in a few moments on Brantford Red Sox IBL Baseball, live on YouTube or wherever you're watching us from. Welcome back to Arnold Anderson Stadium here for IBL Brantford Red Sox baseball as they take on the visiting Guelph Royals. Top of the fifth inning coming here. Pedro Dios Santos going to get the nod from the manager to stay out there on the mound. Seen a little bit of movement there in the bullpen for Brantford, so who knows? We could see that that bullpen game that Jeffrey you talked about there a few moments ago. But right now, again, the pitchers very volatile, bit of a roller coaster. They're up, they're getting great strikeouts, or they're down and can't seem to find the plate. We'll see which side of that pendulum Dios Santos is on, as they'll take on the left fielder. That's going to be Mr. Ethan Hammond, number 28 for the Guelph Royals.
The Royals need to find a way to respond after the Red Sox put up 3 in the bottom of the fourth.
Bundle miss, strike call there, and it's going to be an 0-1. And yeah, you got to think the dam may have burst a little bit here for both teams as the offense picking up at the halfway point of this game. Hammond looking at an 0-1 here. Nice movement there on that one by Dios Santos, but just low. Not going to give it to him, the Red Sox fans. A little bit of disagreement, but they're going to go 1-1. Dios Santos, quick pitch here. Right to the bat of Hammond, but right to the second baseman. And that one is going to be a quick retirement there for the Red Sox. Another textbook easy fielding play. And Chris Ortega, I got to say, doing a great job. Not all of these are going right to him, but he is making those plays on the plate on first base.
Hammond unable to get anything past the infield after a 6-3 and a 4-3 put out in both at bats this far.
Fenwick Jr., the catcher here for the Royals, coming back up, hitting 8th. That ball, weird bounce, but it will go just foul. A 1 count here for Dios Santos.
He was the first base runner, was Fenwick, for the Royals after getting on in the back in the third inning on a walk, and that was subsequently erased by a double play.
Yeah, he was getting on this on base in this game before it was in style. It has since become much more common. The offenses have picked up. We'll see if he can get on base for the second time today. Does a good job getting a 1 in the balls column here. Watches that one go outside. The deal here by Dio Santos. Same spot, low and outside. Ball 2, 2-1 count. Here we go for Fenwick. The pitch. Same spot, same result. 3-1 count here. Off the plate, and Dio Santos again. Good movement. He just needs it to be movement into the strike zone. 3-1 count. That one going to go the other way. It'll hit the batter, and a little bit of an aggressive throw of the bat there by Fenwick Jr. He seems unimpressed, but, well, whether it was a ball or a hit, either way he was going on to first base. And once again, second time being a base runner today. That's the most of anybody, and certainly the most for the Royals. Let's see what Burns hitting ninth. The caboose on the batting lineup, but maybe the caboose on the first base runner of the inning here if he can get on base. Dio Santos fires. Outside for ball 1.
Fenwick's also upset because he's also the catcher, and now he's got an extra bruise to go.
Very true. Yeah, you got to think he's a little sore after some of the pitch locations today. So far, that ball is hit wide right into the bullpen area for the Red Sox. And that'll be 1-1 for Carson Burns. Tommy Hanger Jr. Getting ready to make his third appearance. He's the batter's circle for the Royals.
Coming up on 70 pitches. 2 to go to 70 pitches for Dio Santos in this one.
Manager Jeff Lounsbury there for the Red Sox. Took a step out. Thought better of it. Is going to head back into the dugout as the ball goes by there. 2-1 for Dio Santos, pitching to Burns. A little bit of light here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Might make visibility better for the fielders. We'll see if Burns will test him here. Big swing. Was looking for some outfield action there. Didn't find it. He'll miss for 2-2. Here comes pitch number 6 of the at-bat. Dio Santos. For the delivery. And that'll go low and inside this time. Didn't seem too happy about that one, but either way, he's got a full count, and the full count epidemic continues. This time, Burns the beneficiary.
Yeah, you could tell Dio Santos wanted that one, but umpire says no.
The ball is going to hit him again. Second consecutive hit batter here for Dio Santos, both on full count situations. I mean, it's one thing for, your location to result in a few sloppy balls here and there. Once you start hitting guys on the regular, here comes Jeff Lounsbury. Red Sox manager is going to at least take a moment to talk it over. They got a guy potentially ready in the bullpen, but we'll see if Dio Santos gets the same leash here that Cush did.
Well, now it's starting to get a little bit colder out too, so maybe Dio Santos didn't have the grip on the ball as much as he wanted to, as two left-handed hitters both struck on hit by pitches, Fenwick and Burns, one in the leg, one in the spine. So I don't think it was a fastball. I think it was a slider against Burns. So
yeah, lucky to get away with there without a little bit more contact for Burns, or at least a little bit faster paced contact here in the early season. Again, let's keep those bruises to a minimum. Of course, the catchers like Fenwick can only do so much, but Dio Santos facing a new batter here. Going to go high and inside as Tommy Hanger Jr. looks at a ball for his third at-bat of the day.
Let's see if that resets Dio Santos just like it did Cush, that mound visit by Jeff Lounsbury.
The pitch. Going to be hit foul back to that left side here. A lot of push fouls here for the left-handers for the Royals. Tommy Hanger Jr. going to make this a 1-1 count. Dio Santos fires. It was good horizontally, but not vertically, says Galvao, the home plate umpire. Going to go 2-1 here.
Hanger from Toronto is going to college at Texas Tech D1. He's a freshman.
The pitch. That one is hit directly up into the outfield. The left fielder will take possession. He'll make the catch. and the first base runner will remain where he is. So another nice piece of just textbook fielding there, making the easy ones look easy, but they've seen a couple today that, maybe the easy plays haven't quite gone the way the fielders were hoping for. So Fayu's been big on offense, and he's big on defense there. Records the second out of the inning.
And not only that, it also has to deal with that wind, too. It's picking up in the outfield as we speak. And it's been kind of weird. It's been up in the outfield, but calm at home plate, and then other times it's been the inverse.
Here comes Dios Santos. That first pitch will go just foul, says the first base umpire. A little bit of a discussion.
Hit the batter in the batter's box.
A little bit of disagreement, a little bit of confusion, but it'll be chalked up to a strike nonetheless. So one count here for Dios Santos. Pitching out of J.D. Williams, making his third appearance today. Believe he got on base earlier.
Yeah, he scored the game's first run for the Royals. Single and a steal.
The pitch inside. Nice little bit of reflexes, doing some steps, staying active as J.D. Williams. He'll see a 1-1 this time.
Brought home by Garrett Takamatsu on that single, as De Los Santos will go for a walk to try and settle himself down.
Well, if he can get on base, he won't see Takamatsu for a little bit this time. Andy Leader going to be next up in the batter's circle, and Liam Wilson going to be waiting for him after that. Dios Santos. Third pitch here as that pitch count continues to rise. A little bit inside, and Galval agrees. That's going to be a ball for ball two. 2-1 count here to Williams, getting into that hitter's count range, and he's the guy that can make you pay. That's well struck. Heard that one off the bat. Going to fall right to the second baseman, though. Didn't carry the way he was looking for. The Red Sox get out of trouble. Couple base runners, but no success. And they'll see a 3-1 lead remain into the bottom of the fifth as the Red Sox get ready to go.
Yeah, just a simple little broken bat there. That one didn't die a hero. That one died in a blaze of glory.
One of those balls that sounds louder than it is. Had that quick puff of smoke from the dust in the wind here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Again, not the nicest weather here in Brantford, Ontario. Glad so many of our fans here in attendance are not only are here watching the ball game today, but are wearing hats. Would not be a long hair kind of day here. Those of you unaware, this is a reverse tariff season for the Brantford Red Sox. Terry Smith, new owner of the team, has made ticket prices entirely free here for the 2025 season. So if you've ever thought about coming out to a baseball game, weather's not great today. It was for the home opener. If we can find a temperature in between, we're looking at the perfect baseball weather. Why not? If you're in the local Brantford area, come out and see a game. Or if you're in the Guelph zone, support your Royals. IBL Baseball is a quality product here so far. I've enjoyed my time, my short career covering it so far, but it's going to be a fun season with the Red Sox. And even in what was a low-scoring pitcher's duel early on, plenty to talk about.
So Royals will have a pitching change as number 51 will come in. Jordan Taylor, a Brantford native who has friends and family in the audience.
There you go, Taylor behind both home and enemy lines here. We'll see what he can do as the bullpen second half of this game begins for the Royals. Already behind a little bit.
So 4 innings pitched for Cush. I have him at 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks.
Despite, we talked about a little bit of that volatility he had with his pitch location through the game. Stat line that doesn't read quite as negatively as it may have felt at times. Solid start. Of course, the ace making his first appearance of the season. Would have liked to go a little bit further, but Cush showed a lot of good stuff there, and I think he'll rebound when next the Royals need his services. Here we go. Veyu going to make his return to the game for the Red Sox. He'll be batting for the third time today against Jordan Taylor.
That should be 5 hits, not 3 hits. But, yeah, again, Cush had a good ending or a good outing. Didn't end the way he wanted, but he leaves us now for the Brantford native and Taylor.
Inside on the hands, but it'll just find the zone. 0-1 here for the first pitch for Taylor.
Obviously, the Red Sox looking to tack on some runs here.
That one will go a little bit wide, makes a little bit of contact, does Vayu, but that'll find the parking lot just like many before it. 0-2 count here.
Again, 4 straight innings of at least stranding 1 runner.
Taylor, the pitch. Outside, tried to make it a quick 3-strike first at bat. Instead, he'll find 1-2 as Vayu tries to fight his way back in the count. The pitch. And called strike. Watches it go by, does Vayu, and Taylor's on the board. First K of the day. That's how you like to start it off.
Vayu struck out for the second time in this after striking out, swinging back in the third, so 0 for 3, including an E5 back in the first.
Here comes number 7 here for the Brantford Red Sox. Tim Holick batting in that 3 spot. First time facing Taylor today. Off the edge, but it'll be a called strike, and it's 0-1 for Tim Holick.
I always wonder what it's like for visiting teams or home team or players coming back home when you have in front of friends and family, because you're going to hear some cheers from the other team for your team when. So I always wondered how that works.
Well, it's a great venue here at Arnold Anderson. Some of the adjacent fields, some of the amateur kids may have played here growing up. He may very well be familiar pitching on this very field. And would be weird to do it facing off against that team. You're absolutely right. That'll be a called strike. And Taylor, 2 quick retirements to start his game. 2 Ks early on. He's chasing Cush's number through only 2 at-bats. And now Chris Ortega, he found some success offensively last time around. He's going to need to pick it up here offensively because Taylor has proven a brick wall.
Yeah, nearly hit a bomb here at Arnold Anderson. Instead, he got on with a single, and he came around to score the game's first run for the Red Sox.
Sees a strike go by him again. Doing a great job finding the zone is Taylor. Yeah, but 3 all-Canadian hot dogs length off the post was Ortega from having that first home run of the season here at Arnold Anderson. That one's going to be fouled off. 0-2 count once again. Pitcher's count. Taylor's made him pay twice. Could we see the perfect 3-strike inning as the first reliever of the day overall? Finding success. Got to wonder if that plays into the mindset of Lounsbury there for the Red Sox. Maybe thinks, well, maybe the stamina is a concern here for the starters. The pitch. Will just miss the zone. Low and outside. Going to be ball 1. 1-2 count here as Ortega looking to get on the board once again.
Just good old number 1 right now for Taylor.
Number 1 hit. And that one will be another contact. This time going to go to the shortstop. Makes the throw. Nice textbook piece of fielding there. And the Royals working their way back from those early fielding woes. Doing it there. The Red Sox will be retired. Great inning there for Taylor making his debut out of the bullpen. And we'll be right back here on IBL Brantford Red Sox Baseball from wherever you're watching. We'll see you in just a few moments. Welcome back here on IBL Brantford Red Sox Baseball, wherever you may be watching. Top of the 6th inning here. 6th appearance for the Guelph offense. First pitch here. Dio Santos still in the game. It's going to be a low offering there. As Andy Leader hitting third, the designated hitter. Watches the ball go by for the 1-0 count. The pitch. Once again, low and inside. 2-0 here to Leader.
It'll be interesting to see how much the quick up and down, the 3 up, 3 down affects De Los Santos, in his 6th inning of work. Didn't have that much of a break.
There we go. Ball put right to the shortstop, and another good piece of fielding. It looked like he almost stepped off the bag, but hey, we'll say he did good enough. Ortega will retire. Another batter from the fielding position. That time it's going to be Leader. And that'll bring up Liam Wilson, the dangerous threat, the first baseman here for the Royals. He's looking to get that offense supercharged.
You mentioned how good Ortega has been in terms of going out and making his way to stop or grabbing those balls that are in the dirt, and that's something that first baseman, there's another team called the Red Sox that you may have heard of, and they're in search of a first baseman right now, and
not personally familiar with another Red Sox team, but
they're looking for a first baseman, and it's been a hot topic, especially in the Massachusetts area. But footwork is so important when it comes to that. And the first baseman used to be sort of the fat kid who couldn't move, but now it's an very athletic position.
Yeah. Well, that's sports, isn't it? You can't really get away without having some freak athleticism in pretty much any of the Big Four leagues or further beyond in the IBL. Largely no different. 2-0 count here as Dio Santos faces off against Wilson. Wilson takes a quick swipe at it. That'll be the first strike of the at-bat. 2-1 here for Dio Santos. Quick shout out to our man Neil Montour there in the outfield. Our outfield camera doing an awesome job there making these shots work. Here it comes, the 2-1 pitch. That one's going to be called a ball. Just a little bit low into the inside. The 3-1 count here for Wilson. Again, big threat offensively on the grand scheme of things. Not so much today.
Yeah, just the hit by pitch and a 6-3 putout back in the second.
Deals. Here's Santos. That one's going to go high, and Wilson knew it right away. Last time he had to make a little bit of contact with the ball. This time he gets to do it the easy way, at least the lower bruises way. And again, you mentioned it, Jeff. Cold day. If I can avoid being hit by too many early on, I will. Here comes Takamatsu. He made an impact here early on offensively, responsible for their only run of the day. First pitch. That one's well struck, going to find its way. Just foul. Missed it by the same number of hot dogs that Ortega home run did. Probably about 3 or 4, and he's going to see an 0-1 count here to start. Great contact, though. I mean, Takamatsu, a little bit of struggle early on fielding-wise, but he's making contact with the baseball. Yeah,
went to Central Oklahoma, NCAA D2, the 25-year-old, and he's probably been their best offensive player thus far in the game and a half that this Royals team has played.
25, got to be thinking heading towards your prime as a hitter, and Takamatsu is looking like it so far. Let's see what he can do with a runner on first. Wilson waiting for him on first as Dio Santos will deal. That one going to hit bat, going to go out. And it'll register as a strike. 0-2 count here. Dio Santos still in the ball game. We've had a gentleman warming up there in the bullpen for quite a long time, and we'll see if relief comes in the same way that it did for the Royals. And Taylor maybe making a good name for the relief pitchers here early on in this one. He did an excellent job in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, it could also be warming up because the wind is howling out there. So anything you can do to try to stay warm.
Yeah, warming up is often proverbial. It is quite literal here today in Brantford. The pitch. 0-2. That one struck right to the left side. Count remains at 0-2. And again, you talk about what you like to see here as a Red Sox fan. We talked about some of the early struggles here on offense. You're up 3-1. You're holding the team that made the IBL final last year to currently 1 run through 5 innings, now almost 6 innings of work. Exceptional job. This is feeling like the what the Red Sox fans probably would have hoped for in that home opener, but only lost by 1 there. only up by 2 here as Dio Santos puts it a little bit high. This count will continue. Now it's going to go to 1-2.
And you're getting an excellent pitching performance here from De Los Santos as well. Yes, the fumble in the 4th inning, but he comes right back. You know, he strands 2 after 2 hit by pitches in the 5th, and now 6-3 and a walk. Or is another Dust Devil across.
A bigger one than I think we've had in a little while. It caught Takamatsu off guard. He stepped off, just needed to take a moment.
Well, not only that, but it was going right to left. The others have been going left to right, so right into Takamatsu's face.
Dio Santos, that one's going to be well hit. Traveling. Can they get under it? Yes, they will. Center fielder's going to make a nice little routine catch. That's Ethan Palos finding the out there. And Dio Santos looks like he'll be staying into it. No movement for the bullpen here for the Red Sox. And this is going to see number 24, David Alvarez, make his 3rd appearance. And I think one of the biggest things here early on, Jeff, for Dio Santos has been his pitch mix. Like, he's got a lot of variety, so it's the kind of pitcher that, you know, batters the 3rd time around haven't really caught up to, you know? It's easier to learn a guy that's, you know, maybe 2 or 3 main pitches, but Dio Santos, a lot of movement. He's keeping variety. That one found the dirt.
And they being the Royals, haven't seen De Los Santos, so he's been able to keep the Royals on their toes thus far.
The 1-0. Big swing strike there. It's going to go 1-1.
The deeper and deeper into a game you go when you haven't seen a pitcher, it still belongs to the pitcher because they're the ones that still have to execute their pitch. You know, it's not like a batter can go, okay, I know that this slider is going to break or how fast this fastball is, because you don't know how fast the fastball is.
The 1-1. Another big hack there by Alvarez. Taking some swings here, looking to get that first baseman a little bit of movement. Wilson's been waiting since that second walk of the second.
And there was another one there where he just pulled the string a little bit off speed, and Alvarez was searching for it, and he came up empty.
The 1-2 here, Dio Santos could end the inning. Right down the middle, that had a chance to be a strike, but going to go right off the pole. And the mesh protecting the fans here behind home plate. 1-2. Not any warmer here at Arnold Anderson Stadium, but it is starting to get a little bit brighter, starting to see the clouds part in places. Dio Santos, the 1-2. And a big swing, another strike, and that'll end the inning. Another great inning of work for Dio Santos, his 6th today, and we're going to go to the bottom half as the Red Sox looking to build that 2-run lead in their efforts to get their first win of the season on the Ford, their first win at home, and their first since deep into the 2024 campaign.
That almost felt like Alvarez was chasing the play. He was trying to get a hit, or or forcing himself to do something there, and he just missed, right? So
it looked like he was kind of deciphering there a little bit. It looked like he kind of thought he caught up to the movement. It was a lot of pitches with movement, but it looked like he'd squared him up. Let's check our out-of-town scoreboard here in the IBL. 3 other games in Sunday action around the league.
And the top of the 5th, the Jack Couch Park in Kitchener. It is the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers over the Panthers by 1, 6-5. The London Majors ahead by 4 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are doubling them at Christie Pitts, and the Welland Jackfish are leading up 2-0 against the Hamilton Cardinals.
The Maple Leafs losing there in their action. You hope that's the only time a Toronto team can't find a W today. As we're getting ready here for the second inning of action for Jordan Taylor. He's done an exceptional job to this point as we're looking at our next batter here, going to be the 22. It's going to be Noah Roberts, the catcher here for the Red Sox, making his 3rd attempt of the day. And again, building that lead. First time there's been a late lead for the Red Sox this season. Again, you got to get those nerves nice and packed low. You got to just stick to what you're doing. And whatever they did in that 5th inning, that's the offense you got to find again.
There are going to be some defensive substitutions as we'll try and get those figured out as quickly as possible here.
I want to take a quick moment to, first of all, thank our audience watching wherever you may be watching, whether it be on YouTube or elsewhere. And I want to kind of send you the way to go for more Red Sox baseball. If you've enjoyed what you've watched today, or you're a diehard catching your second of many home broadcasts this season, well, Brantford's next game is going to be at Kitchener at Jack Couch on Thursday, May 22nd. Some Thursday night action. That game first pitch starting sometime after 7:30. And then at 7:35 that very same night on Thursday, May 22nd, the Guelph Royals, if you're here watching from Guelph, taking on the Barrie Baycats. But here comes Roberts. We're getting ready for our first batter of the bottom of the sixth as the Red Sox look to finally get to Taylor. He was dominant in that bottom of the fifth. Roberts takes his cuts and gets ready. Well hit for the first pitch of the inning. And it's well hit right to the left fielder. Didn't really have to move for it. And that'll be the first retirement.
The designated hitter, number 25.
As here comes number 25, Nick Burdett, the designated hitter, will face Taylor. And 4 batters have been unsuccessful in finding a way by the new reliever so far. Can he be the one to break the spell?
Tried to jump on Taylor early to Roberts, but he lined it right to the left fielder.
Taylor, the young dealer from Mississauga. That one's going to find its way just below the zone. Burdett going to step back in. The dust starting to pick up again a little bit. Here's Taylor. Low and inside. Going to be ball 1, 1-1 count.
So Ashton Patterson has come in for David Alvarez in right field.
So Alvarez has had a lot of success early on in the offensive side. Well, they're looking for some defense here as they look to bring this one back from the Red Sox. That one's going to go by Burdett. 1-2 count here for the designated hitter. The 1-2 pitch coming here. Air getting a little colder. As that one is struck well out the left field way, back towards those aforementioned chairs and futons we talked about in the left field. Burdett's going to get another chance to settle under it. And one great thing you can tell he's a veteran, Jeff, because he's always getting those long counts. He really doesn't go too early, doesn't swing early, really tries to wear those pitchers down, and that's going to make more difference to a reliever than a starter. As that ball is struck the other way, he's gotten foul both directions.
Yeah, he batted .214 against the Royals last year, but again, when you make your way around the IBL loop as often as Burdett has done, I mean, there's not much you haven't seen at this point.
And Burdett's going to put it right up the middle. It's caught by the shortstop. Gets it to first base. Nice throw on the first baseman. A nice extension with the leg to keep that one on the plate. Burdett's retired. And Burdett, he's probably seen a lot of pitchers in his time, but he hasn't seen Taylor, the young 18-year-old, the righty. Once again, retiring another batter, and Brantford, that promising offense. Well, it's Taylor. 51 is starting to put an end to it.
So Hanger makes a nice play there. You remember back in the second inning where he had an error allowing Lucas Bateman to reach first base as a dust devil kicked up right just as he was about to throw. Well, right then, nothing happened, and he was able to find the bag and find Liam Wilson for the out.
Taylor gets ahead to count early again. 0-1 this time to Bateman. It'll be 1-1 that time off the plate. Here comes the 1-1. Taylor. Struck. Back off to the right. That one's going to go foul. 1-2 count here now for Bateman.
20 pitches for Taylor, 21 pitches now. How about 17 strikes? I'd say that's a pretty good average.
Yeah, great work here early on from Taylor. Just pounding the zone, but nobody can seem to find where he's putting it. That one's once again going to go off to the right, and you can really see, Jeff, the wind picking up as the ball kind of gets elevation. They look like they're going off right to the parking lot, and then they go right over us. So not a very hitter-favorable wind situation here. The 1-2 for Taylor. Looked close, and he rings him up. Galval will give it to him, and another great inning of work for Taylor as he strikes out Bateman, and that'll be the end of the inning for the sixth. A quick game flying through. Thank you once as always for watching the IBL Brantford Red Sox baseball. We will return here in just a moment.
Fans, don't forget today's a Sunday.
Hello again and welcome. Brantford Red Sox baseball here, Arnold Anderson Stadium. Hope you're enjoying your lovely Sunday afternoon of action. Lots of sports going on in the world today. I know there's an NBA Game 7, big Leafs game tonight, but I'm glad you took the middle of your day out here to join us live on Red Sox baseball. Again, whether it be on YouTube or anywhere else, you are in for some action here in these final couple innings. Two teams looking for their first win of the year, and it's Ethan Hammond looking to do the damage with the stick for the Guelph Royals.
Yeah, bottom of the order thus far to come up here in the 7th inning against Ethan De Los Santos.
Yeah, Los Santos still in the game here. First pitch. Hammond's going to send that one off right to the first baseman. Takes a quick bounce, so we'll step on the bag, retires the first batter, and, well, De Los Santos, a guy who's trying to keep his pitch count low, that's a good way to start your 7th inning of work.
Yeah, over 3 will go. We'll go for Hammond, and now Dean Rommel out to talk to the umpire, and I believe a pinch hitter will be.
I can have a quick word here. Is the fielders continue to stay loose, stay limber, just like, again, our awesome cameraman Neil Montour out there in center field. We thank him and Brandon, our director, for all their work so far today. For the most part, should have a relatively full-time crew here on the Brantford Red Sox broadcast. Again, Marshall Crocker. I will be joining you the rest of the year here on likely play-by-play. I'll probably miss a couple games, but we'll have a rotating cast. Jeff, I don't know about your availability. I hope you're back here sometime, multiple times, hopefully the rest of the year. It's been a lot of fun today, and even if we haven't got a lot of runs to work with, we've had a lot of fun talking here. Taking the cuts there is our new batter making his appearance there. We'll wait just a moment to get you some identification, but De Los Santos looking to make quick work out of him. The first pitch, that one's going to go in the dirt, bounce off the foot of the catcher, and Roberts will send that one off to the back fence. 1-0 count here early on.
So here they have Andy Leader in what they've given us as the in our batting or in our packages, but here they have Matthew Ward as number 10.
All righty, well, we'll operate off that then. Matthew Ward there, going to look at the second pitch of his at-bat. That one going to be a strike. So, third pitch. That one's a ball. 2-1 count, I should say. De Los Santos getting a little bit behind here as he looks to stay in. That one's struck. Going to find its way just foul once again. A couple balls had a chance there today for the Royals off to the right side. That one once again, no dice. 2-2 here. De Los Santos looking to retire the batter. So Matthew Ward here making his first appearance. Pinch hitting, a lot of substitutions here early on. Dino Rommel, you talked about that right field swap there for Alvarez. Another batter's going to come in here, and maybe it's the cold. Maybe guys just, if you think you got a hot hand, guys a little bit warmer, you try to get out there and make your impact. But The same way that warm games like our home opener here in Brantford can wear you down, so can the cold ones. Dios Santos, 2-2. That one's going to be sent off. Third baseman won't make the play on it, or can he get there? Just short. And the new hitter, Matthew Ward, making his appearance here. As he crossed first, he said it was late, and so did the first base umpire. He'll be on base. Ward making his impact felt, and Ben Mercier is going to give it to him.
Well, it's a little bit of unfortunate events there for the Brantford Red Sox third baseman, as he is unable to corral that as Tim Hollick makes the error. And we saw right off the hop the Royals third baseman make 2 errors in the first inning, and now one by the Red Sox third baseman.
Carson Burns making his third appearance today. Thought about a bunt and missed, so it's going to be an 0-1 count.
So they've officially ruled a single on that.
Yeah, relatively borderline. Bit of a bobble there from the third baseman, but that one is hit up and out to center field. The left fielder may have an angle on it, but it is caught. Center fielder gets to that one. That's Max Schmarter. Working Schmarter, not harder. Didn't do much running, just went right to the baseball. Nice catch there. That'll be our second out of the inning on the Red Sox side. It's Dios Santos.
Paulos that's in center field. Schmarter's the shortstop.
Good catch there. Yes, Ethan Paulos. Schmarter recently joined the organization there. Hasn't had much to do with there in right field. Paulos, though, you're absolutely right. He's been much, much busier today. Back up to Tommy Hanger, fourth appearance today.
0 for 3, strikeout swing, ground out, and a fly out.
Yeah, a guy that hasn't had much offensive impact here at the top of the lineup early on for the Royals. And your leadoff hitter, you're looking to get him on base more than anybody. As that one is off the bat, off the catcher, and into the dirt. It's going to go 0-2. Dios Santos looking to get out of another inning. An exceptional performance here. This is what you like to see if you're Brantford, and ace versus ace. Both looked pretty good, but Dios Santos looking like potentially it could be a star for the 2025 Red Sox season.
That was the 107th pitch for Dios Santos in this game.
The 0-2. Swinging strike. Innings over. And Dios Santos looking great as he scurries off the mound. Quick sprint. Pitch 108 looked just as good as pitch 1. And that will end the top of the 7th. Opportunities running out here for the Royals to close that 2-run gap. And we'll see the return of the Red Sox offense here as, well, I assume Jordan Taylor should still be in the game. 2 innings in relief so far. He's been exceptional in both of them.
Note we'll have a pitching change as number 91 will come in.
It's going to be Brandon Deans, if my information serves me correct. Going to be making his first appearance today and potentially in the new season. Only the second game of the year for the Royals. We'll start taking his warm-up here. And again, this is the second of what should be quite a number of entertaining Red Sox home games this season. And again, the New Year's brought a lot of new faces, a lot of new friends around the paddock. I know there's a beer garden area that has been added this year at Arnold Anderson Stadium. A lot of new spots, some new faces in the media team, and some new faces up here in the broadcast booth. A fresh start, and what better way to start off a season than 1-2? Quite a bit better than 0-3.
Red Sox lead 3-1 after all those runs came back in that 4th inning. As really the 4th inning made the difference throughout the contest. Is, you know, that's all the scoring that there's been was in that 4th inning. Nothing in the first, 3rd, and nothing for the first 6th, and top of the 7th thus far. Brandon Deans went 1-2 last year with the Guelph Royals. Played in 17 games, got 1 start, a 2.48 opponent's average, and a 476 earned run average.
Not too bad there then for Deans. Should do a solid job here in relief for Taylor, or at least that's what Dino Ramel is going to be hoping. As they announce the 50-50 here live at the Red Sox game. Really great turnout today. Official numbers should come out later this week, but solid turnout even with the bad weather. That Red Sox fan base, like many here in the IBL, they are loyal, and boy, would they like to see a win to start off this season. A 3-1 win would be very uncharacteristic for their season so far. Remember, they started off with 2 very close contests, lost by 1 in both of their first 2 games. Won the 6-5 loss to London on the May 11th, and May 16th, later that week, lost to Fernando Rodney and the Hamilton Cardinals by a score of 9-8. That late stage of that game, if you haven't got a chance to watch that game back, that Hamilton Cardinals 9th inning was truly insane. 4 runs for the Red Sox against Rodney, and then the 2 runs for the Cardinals made that a loss for the Red Sox. Here we go. First pitch for Deans. That one's going to be sent straight back towards us. Ball's going to catch a bat, and Deans finds himself in his first 0-1 count of the day.
Yeah, we mentioned the Red Sox, just a 4-17 home record. Last year, both Kitchener and Hamilton had 7, so that's 3 losses that you're giving away. But the Red Sox looking to get back on the board here as they try and figure out their first home win and perhaps a game that's not decided by 1 run.
An 0-2 count here to Schmarter. Now 1-2 here. Dean's looking to get his first K up on the board. That one's going to be low, going to go for a ball. 2-2 count here. Schmarter, again, the recent acquisition here for the Red Sox, looking to make his impact felt. And I think the big thing to remember as we talk about that home record is kind of the contextualization of what this game means for different teams and really what it means for the season. The goal for the Red Sox not to be that 9th seed in the league once again, looking to make the IBL playoffs. They go for their 16th franchise championship as that's going to head off and just barely catch the fence here. 1-2 count remains for Schmarter, doing a good job to keep this at-bat alive, get that Dean's pitch count nice and high early.
I think you saw it last year with the Royals coming in 4th and eventually making the final, is that if you can get in it, you have a chance to win.
Once again, no luck there that time. The at-bat will continue as the ball was sent directly into the Red Sox dugout. Gentleman trotting out of there to the Red Sox dugout to give the ball back. We're in an awesome Brantford Red Sox starter jacket. One of many awesome new pieces of merchandise in the 2025 season.
Always have to pay attention, especially with the dugout so close.
Well, and not dug out at all. They are at ball level. As that one, speaking of ball, is going to go for a 2-2 here. Dean's what was a favorable count, kind of working backwards on him. That one, a little bit of contact, going to go right to Deans. He should be able to make the play here. Nice little trot there for Schmarter, but won't get there in time. Deans retires the first batter. They'll put it to the first baseman, and now we're going to see Ethan Paulos. Gentleman who's been doing a great job out there in center field today. Paulos is going to try to get the stick to make some noise on offense because that 4th inning, you said it, Jeff, has been our only action of the day. It's almost as if that bad wind that's been coming towards the batters all day went backwards for 1 inning, and we haven't seen it again.
Well, wind is coming in right now, so.
That one's going to go outside, but not low enough, so that'll be a strike going against Paulos.
Good season debut for Paulos, 2 for 2 with 2 singles.
There you go. Looking for single number 3. That one's going to go over his head a little bit loose, and 1-1 is going to be the count. First time it's been Deans versus Paulos today, the 1-1. And to the same spot outside. Looks a little frustrated. Kind of got a strike there in that same location last time. Going to go for a ball this time, but 2-1 count there. That one is sent well high and out to left. So this at-bat will continue the 2-2.
Should also be noted that Jordan Gallo has taken over at third base for Garrett Takamatsu.
So another defensive substitution there for the Royals, again trying to keep the Red Sox offense under wraps here late. That one in the same spot. He's trying to pick that bottom right corner, but he won't get the favorable call, so his first full count of the day. No stranger to full counts, the starting aces today, but the first time a reliever, I believe, will have faced one. The 3-2. Same spot, same result. That's a walk. And it'll be Ethan Paulos making his way to first base as the order comes back up, and Brody Black will make his return to the batter's box.
The right fielder, number 4, Brody Black.
You can tell Deans wanted that one, asking if the umpire whether it was down or outside. I don't know what the response was, but Paulos reaches reaches first base for the 3rd time in this game.
The first pitch is going to go a little bit low. It's going to be a 1-0 there for Deans. And Brody Black, a guy coming into today, more strikeouts than hits, but he's looked pretty solid there offensively today, at least getting into some long counts. the Stouffville, Ontario native will look at 1-0, and I'll look at it inside. Now it'll be 2-0.
Dean's still trying to perfect that spot, and he's just not finding it. Perhaps another spot will be better.
I think the big problem here for Deans is we see 2-0. Now 3-0 hits the batter right off, I believe, the lower leg foot area on Brody. So Brody Black will take his run up to first base. Now runners on first and second. But as I was going to say there, I think the big problem for Deans is he's trying to find that spot. But unlike what Dio Santos has been doing for the Red Sox, he's doing it with the same pitches. He's trying to get there. He's trying to get that one pitch cultivated. Dio Santos would lose his spot, but he'd try to find it with a couple different points of his pitch mix. So could be dangerous here. Was dangerous there. Brody Black getting checked up a little bit there by a trainer. He's no, looks like he's good. He's going to walk it off, take his place on first base, and runners on first and second. I think we're going to see a mound visit here.
Yeah, by the catcher. Just having a word with Brandon Deans. It was interesting to see the home plate umpire go with instead of just letting them talk.
Not often you see a chaperoned pitcher's mound meeting.
I guess just to make sure that nothing funky was going on between them.
But the mound visit will conclude, and we'll get back into the action here. As it'll be Deans and Veilleux, the number 12 left fielder there for the Red Sox. One of the undoubted stars of the team. Was incredible last year relative to the rest of the offense, and will need to do so this year if they want to make a long playoff run. Dean's going to give one low there. Veilleux doesn't even give it a chance. 1-0 count.
I don't think Veilleux is going to swing right at that pitch anyways, just simply because of the dust kick up right when Deans released the ball.
Yeah, throwing an interesting wrinkle in today's game is those dust kicks, as we see that's going to go for a called strike. 1-1 here to Veilleux. I wonder how much it is picking up here for those of you watching at home here for the IBL Brantford Red Sox broadcast. We can see it clear as day here behind home plate, and I'm sure the fans can, but nobody better than the batters can see just how much dust is coming up.
And you don't want to keep repeating it, but the fact of the matter is that it becomes a little bit of a story to the game, especially when you see errors made because of a dust storm or whatnot.
Well, it's a great point here as we get ready for the 2-1. Deans deals. Looks like that'll be 3-1. But you make a great point. I mean, those two Takamatsu errors we saw in the first inning there, nothing came out of it. But that could be huge for a team like the Red Sox who's trying to get back, getting on offense early in games. That could have been huge. They just couldn't execute, and that could have changed the game, especially with a low score like 3-1, which is also the count here for Deans. That one's low. That's a walk, and bases are loaded for the Red Sox. Tim Holick heads up for the at-bat, and again, only home run of the season. Only thing better than the first home run here at Arnold Anderson for the season. Chris Ortega came close, but a grand slam you got to think would get the fans on their feet. Dean's going to have a mound visit here. Dino Ramel is going to come in just to make sure that that is not something that Deans is worried about. It's kind of an interesting combination. You want to consider the situation, consider the runners with you, but Dean's just having trouble with control right now. He's got bigger problems than the runners on pace. Just needs to focus here.
Yeah, 2 walks and a hit by pitch in each of the last 3 batters here. So he's just happened to lose the strike zone, and a 4.76 last year after having a 3.63 back in the summer of 2023. So.
If I'm Jeff Lounsbury, the manager for the Red Sox here, talking to the offense, I'm saying, all right, we've got our chances today. We've got some gifts from the Royals. I mean, again, those errors we've been talking about all game. You've had a couple situations with just a couple repeated walks in a row. You got to execute your own offense, and I think we need to see some batters stepping up here if this lead needs to extend for the Red Sox. And the man to do so is Chris Ortega, the aforementioned the gentleman who just barely, Tim Holick, I should say. The man who does have a home run. Chris Ortega came close a week ago. Holick's going to go 1-0 here. Holick putting Deans in a hole as he gets ready for 1-0.
Deans needs to find a strike.
That's the one. 1-1 count here. Going to go just just inside the strike zone on the close end. Already lefty matchup here.
Deans needs to find a strike, but you cannot groove it because if not, it's going out.
Tim Holick, a man that we know has power. The 1-1. Oh, take a bit of a look there, did Fenwick, as the base runner on third took a quick step off. Paulos thinks better of it, heads back to third base, and a 2-1 count.
Should also note that Matt Torreson has come on to replace Jeremy Veilleux as the runner on first base.
Here comes the 2-1. Inside once again, 3-1 here, and he is one short pitch away as Deans from walking home a run.
This is the game right here.
We talked about a pitch earlier on. A similar situation for the Royals is crucial. This one even more so. The Red Sox could put it out of reach here at home. Low ball. There it goes. And the runner comes home. Ethan Paulos had a long wait, but he will find his way home. 4-1 now for the Brantford Red Sox. And if you have a young baseball fan watching here at home on the IBL Brantford Red Sox broadcast, this is the best piece of plate discipline practice you could show them. Great piece of work here from the Brantford Red Sox. And the seventh baseman, a lot of easy balls going by, and they are letting them go by. Chris Ortega, the gentleman I mentioned a few moments ago, came very close to a home run earlier on.
25 pitches for Dean, 16 balls.
Sounds like the inverse of the count for Taylor, his predecessor there in the relief situation. That's going to go 1-0.
Deans is trying to hit that inside part of the plate with a fastball. Right now, you might want to do something just a little bit on the outside. Perhaps another pitch, a slider, anything.
That one is well hit, but a little bit too far up. Good contact. May see a tag up here, a little too close. So they'll think better of it. Will remain bases loaded here, but Ortega get a pop out there to the center fielder.
The target was outside that time around, but Deans used a slider to get the pop-up, and the infield fly rule was in effect. For those that don't know the infield fly rule, runners on at least first and second, less than 2 out, pop up into the infield. Batter is automatically out. Runners advance at their own peril.
Being serenaded by Build Me Up Buttercup, which means Noah Roberts is up to bat, hitting fifth here. The catcher sees bases loaded but 2 outs. One of those situations you play out in your head as a hitter, and now he's facing Deans, who's had a little bit of adversity here in the 7th inning. Going to find himself in an 0-1 favorable count here, though. The pitch. That one, it's going to go a little bit low. That'll be a ball, and the catcher couldn't quite get his hand under it. 1-1 count here, and again, that cold. I don't know about you. Jeff. It's catching up to me, so you got to think it's catching up to some of those fielders out there.
It definitely is up here.
The 1-1 pitch, getting ready. Deans deals, and he deals low. That's going to be 2-1 here, and another favorable count for a Red Sox batter this inning. Feels like a broken record in that regard as well. There's Noah Roberts still looking to make his mark on the game. 2-1, bases loaded. The pitch. That one is struck. Just foul. They're going to cut. It was very close. To the naked eye, that one was hard to tell, but foul ball will reset, and that's always a tough one there, Jeff. You know, if you're in a very favorable count, and especially you get that hit, you think you're close, and it gets called foul, you come all the way back. That momentum, the adrenaline drop is something that can be hard for hitters to deal with.
And it's also, here in the IBL, 3 umpires are used in the regular season. They won't go till to 4 until the playoffs and maybe even a championship series, but not to have somebody on the line to make sure that it is fair or foul.
2-2. Dean's going to put it outside. Full count once again, 3-2. This time to Roberts. Full count, 2 outs, bases loaded. And we're going to call this the biggest pitch of the day.
Yeah, the thing I said before, scratch it.
All righty, Dean's getting ready. 3-2. The runners go, but they go for no reason, because that is a walk. They're going to get a nice little free end to their run, because that is 5-1 Red Sox on yet another walk. The plate discipline here from Dean's just not quite finding his spots. We've seen it with those similar pitches. He tries to find it, and every once in a while a batter makes him pay, or at least gets a scary foul like that one we saw a few moments ago. So here comes Burdett. We talked about his veteran stature in the league, and well, you got to think he's going to be making the ball-happy Deans earn his strikes here. That's going to go 1-0.
So 4 walks already in this inning, plus a hit by pitch for Deans.
Deans outside again. That seems to be his spot. If home plate was about a half foot wider, he'd be dealing, but unfortunately just can't quite find his spot there on the outside. Burnett's going to look at a 2-0 this time.
And I know Dino Rommel was looking to use a one pitcher for the 8th or 9th inning, but he might have to get him ready immediately.
Finally gets a man to bite. He's going to get Burdett swinging there for 2-1.
And that's another thing, too, is when you get to this level, people have to work, right? And so you might not have a full complement of pitchers. Royals might be only going with 4 or 5 pitchers in this game.
That one is fouled off, back to the left, and Burnett's going to find himself in a 2-2 now. Deans really needs to take advantage of this. 2 outs, 2 strikes, and he hasn't found himself in too many counts of this favorable. Going to need to finish this one off if he wants the Red Sox side retired with 3 runners on base.
Already 2 in the inning after the excellent work from Jordan Taylor through the 5th and 6th, 6 up, 6 down.
Here comes one of the many biggest pitches of the game this inning. That one going to go just off the plate. 3-2, which would make this the even bigger pitch of the game. It's been a high leverage inning here for Deans. He's faced a lot of unfavorable counts. Hasn't quite executed so far. Maybe this could be the one.
3rd straight full count, I believe.
Believe you're right, is the pitch. That one is hit. Bat splinters, and the ball comes down. The Red Sox bring 1 home, bring 2 home. The runner on 3rd will get the stop sign, and that is another runner home, 2 runners home. And a great piece of work there from Nick Burdett, the veteran. Bat may break, but he still gets the hit, finds its gap between the shortstop and the left fielder.
Well, that one died a hero as Nick Burnett just fights that off in on the hands, and that'll spell the end of Brandon Deans after allowing 4 runs in the inning, and shockingly, that's the only hit of the inning thus far.
Incredible to think, because just, it feels like an offensive explosion here for Brantford, and it feels like in a lot of ways the similar offensive success they've had these last couple games finally starting to come out, but it is really just capitalizing on mistakes more than it is their offense coming alive. And with the cold weather, again, we talk about it, the offense is not looking particularly sprightly with the stick with the hitting today, so you got to take your chances where you can get them. We're going to see Deans more than likely leave the game, but 7-1 here. You got to think for the Red Sox, you're feeling a lot better than you have than these other close games where, there were some close ones, but they were never on the positive side of it. So 7-1, and if you're a Royals fan here, your first game of the year was a 7-0. You're at a 7-1 right now, but it feels like it's one that could get even further away. So Royals fans, they witnessed an IBL Finals berth last year. They're going to have some questions about their team. You got to think coming out of the second game of the year.
Well, this is one that I think Deans will want to have back, obviously, is we're going to have a pinch runner come in for Burdett, as well as the new pitcher coming in for the Royals. But you have to feel bad for Deans in this situation. Edgar Garcia in for the Royals. Garcia from Grande de Palicante, Dominican Republic. Played in with the Philadelphia Phillies, Tampa Bay Rays, the Minnesota Twins, Cincinnati Reds as well. So he does have a bit of major league experience. He was going to be the pitcher that the Royals used late, but he'll have to come out just a little bit, and pitch now 7 2/3 into this ball game.
Yeah, but it feels like that 2/3, that little detail there. There's an extra batter to get out. They've had 2 outs here for a while, have the Royals, and they just haven't been able to execute. So it feels like a long, long 7th inning here if you're a Royals fan or defender. And yeah, Garcia going to get the call. You got to think, depending on how he does here with the weather, with the climate, and especially if this game gets out of hand, might just see him all the way through here to the 9th inning. You don't want to use that extra reliever if you're the Royals, right? I mean, Dino Ramel, you're thinking the long game. You got a game on Thursday. The more you can save in the bullpen if this one gets out of hand, the better.
So Henry Paula comes in as a pinch runner for Burdett, and runners on the corners as Garcia gets set to go.
And so does Lucas Bateman facing Garcia for the first time today. Edgar's first pitch. That one's well low, a wild pitch. And the runner comes home. 8-1 now for the Red Sox. The fans here liking what they're seeing. I mean, it feels like Dean's never quite gotten his rhythm. Garcia's first pitch goes for a wild pitch that scores a run. Do you think Jordan Taylor's wondering at all, could I have stayed in maybe a little bit longer in extra inning? He was dealing with the cold, it seemed, quite well.
I think Taylor did his job, 6 up, 6 down and that, and I don't think Dino Rebel would want to use him any further.
Well, if you love something's performance, set it free. And he did a great bit of work today there for the Royals. But 2-0 now for Garcia, following that wild pitch run there for the Red Sox a moment ago that made it 8-1.
Frankly, Taylor's performance might be the best, might be the bright spot for the Royals in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really need to find one, not just for this game, but potentially for the season. We talked about the shortcomings there against London. Finding them today against the Red Sox.
So 9th batter of this inning to the plate in Bateman. He struck out to end the 6th. He might be the last out of the 7th.
Garcia, the 2-1 here. That one is struck, going to go right to the shortstop. Oh, he misplays it. Similar situation. The runner at third will get the green light. Play at the plate, easy tag. And that'll end the inning. Looked close there. Looked like we may see 2 more, but the Red Sox, an explosion of offense we haven't seen since the 4th. 8-1 now for the home side. 8-1 we're going to send you away with for the Red Sox here on IBL Brantford Red Sox Baseball, YouTube, cable, or wherever you're watching us. We thank you for joining us today on this Sunday. We'll be back in just a few moments for the top of the 8th. And we return here on IBL Brantford Red Sox Baseball here, YouTube, or wherever you're watching us. We thank you for joining us today. Marshall Crocker alongside Jeffrey Brando. And we've had a great bit of action to call, but a lot more offense, particularly for the home side here in these last couple moments. The 7th inning, very fruitful as Brantford put 4 more on the board, now find themselves up 8-1. And we're seeing some more preparation here by the Royals offense that just hasn't found pay dirt so far yet today. We're going to see number 12 here making his walk. That's Nathaniel Bell, the center fielder, is going to make his first cuts today. As Dio Santos still in there, 108 pitches strong, and 150 you said was the record, Jeff. I mean, that 42 is quite a bit for 2 innings late in the game, but that one's going to go outside, make it 109. Incredible bit of stamina here from Dio Santos, especially on such a cold day.
And not only that, but it's also the fact that, how do I want to put this? That 7th inning took so long. That was almost a half an hour's worth of baseball that the Brantford Red Sox had on offense. So I'm surprised a little bit that De Los Santos is back out, especially, over 100 pitches. Let's use up some of our relievers, let them have a chance, would the Brantford Red Sox say, and let them have a chance to get into the game.
Dio Santos will deal the second strike of the at-bat. That'll make it 2-2. And you got to think Dio Santos here, one of the coldest people in this park, and that is saying something. It is a chilly day here at Arnold Anderson. Board posts a 3-1 count, so we'll see the 3-1. Points added off the plate. A little bit of a signal there from Bell to the home plate umpire. Disagrees, but he'll get a 3-2 count for his efforts there. Dio Santos will deal. That one is struck towards the shortstop. Once again, he's done exceptional making textbook plays, and that one was close, but he'll get the call. The first base umpire is going to give it to the good old Max Schmarter, who's had an impressive go today there at the shortstop position.
Bell nearly got into that first base, but a good play there by shortstop Max Schmarter, who's made a couple of good web gems thus far.
Mm-hmm. The first pitch from Dio Santos. Gonna watch that one go by as Andy Leader, 1-0 count. And again, Schmarter, a new acquisition. If you're trying to make a name for yourself, the best way to do it is with some not only nice but flashy plays with the glove from shortstop. Gonna get a called strike one. Gonna go 1-1 count here. Dio Santos still in the game, as he's been for every inning. That pitch count got to be getting up towards 120 now. That one is going to be a strike as well. Dio Santos looking for, memory serves, either strike 6 or 7, strikeout 6 or 7 of the day. Kicks and deals, 1-2, 1-3. That's a strikeout once again for Dio Santos. And the long marathon of a game continues to bear fruit there for Dio Santos.
First baseman number 15.
And Liam Wilson, one of the best, one of the Royals' stars. They need something, do the Royals. They need some offense here late in this one against the Red Sox. They got this one and one more chance. And it's looking more and more like we may only have 2 subsequent half innings in this game, as the Red Sox got that big 7-run lead, looking for their first home win of the season.
Yeah, that's the 7th strikeout for Dio Santos in this one.
Looking for 8, first pitch. Wilson, I'm going to say he went around on that one, so a 1 count.
But the movement for De Los Santos is still magical. You saw Wilson get completely fooled on that.
Mm-hmm. Expect that velocity to trail off, but the movement is not. That one, though, the control was the question mark there. That one's going to go high and wide. 1-1 count as the ball gets away. Ball boy going to run to that one. Throw it back to the Red Sox dugout. And Dio Santos gets ready for the 1-1. Two outs this inning. Wilson's going to be looking to get this one in the air. Off the foot, I believe, of the catcher. That'll be 2-1 here. Oh, they're going to say off the foot of Wilson. That'll be a hit by pitch. And well, you got to get them on base if you're the Royals. Doesn't matter how you do it. And I mean, hey, the Red Sox have made a pretty good day offensively out of getting guys hit by pitch. So
yeah, I mean, 3 hit by pitches against the Brantford Red Sox already, and that's the second hit batsman or third hit batsman for the Royals. As Wilson gets checked up on De Los Santos, the veteran of the IBL, having pitched with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Kitchener Panthers, and London Majors as well. 22 and 24 playoffs included all time. Pitching in his 90th career IBL game. 4 innings pitched with 1 hit against London to start the season.
Here goes Dio Santos, the 0-1 count, 2 outs. That one swung on, chopped lightly towards first base. Going to be a tough fielding play. Tries for the tag. I think he missed him. Great movement there as he doesn't find success getting the tag. That was one of those fielding plays that, you know, it's the little bit of athleticism, not just the speed there, Jeff, but the little bit of shimmying and driving to get under the tag there. That was a nice play.
Well, I nearly yelled out PFP right there because De Los Santos has to go and cover that bag. That was a little bit quicker and try to reach it in enough time, and the first baseman there, Chris Ortega, has to reach out and try to make that tag away from Jordan Gallo, and it doesn't work until Gallo's on.
And those are those situational fielding situations you expect to iron out over the course of the year if you're Jeff Lounsbury and this Red Sox team. But you're opening the door. You're creating air for a Royals team that didn't have any prior to this inning. 2 outs here, 2 runners on first and second.
Ashton Patterson at the plate.
Patterson, who came in as a defensive sub here last inning, making his first cuts here against Dios Santos. The 1-1. That one once again going to be chopped, this time backwards, out of play. 1-2 count here for the foul ball. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Patterson faces off as Dios Santos takes a moment, readies himself.
126 pitches now for De Los Santos.
He's 24 off that record. They put him in the ninth. We could have history here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. 127's in the dirt. Runners will advance on a wild pitch. They're not going to get the sign to keep going as Dios Santos couldn't cover first last time. Does cover home this time. And Patterson is having his job made easy here for him. Had that unfavorable count here. Back up to 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the inning. Runners now on second, third. Those late game lows, they've had a couple almost comebacks offensively of the Red Sox. They might be witnessing one here defensively if they don't get it out to end the top of the 8th. The pitch. That one's going to be fouled off to the left.
Well, Hamilton had an excellent comeback against this Brantford Red Sox team, causing them that loss. You know, as we mentioned, Fernando Rodney getting that win against the Cardinals, or for the Cardinals, but I think it was 7 runs in the last 3 innings. Guelph's probably capable of it too.
The pitch. That one is going to get rung up as a strike. Took a minute to get the decision, but Dios Santos, 8th K of the day. And 1 more inning remains for the Royals. They're going to have to wait for the 9th as the Red Sox offense that was out here for the length of a serialized television episode last inning is going to come back up and try to make it just as long this time. Maybe shoot for the Netflix documentary 1 hour. Well, as the team gets ready for their offensive appearance, their 8th of the day, and the Royals head out, it's going to be Edgar Garcia, it would seem, remaining on the mound. Might be the last Royals pitcher to see action today. Again, may not be a great day of weather, but it's a great day here of baseball. The fans here all still in attendance. They're ready to see a home win, and the man trying to hold them from building their lead is Edgar Garcia. He'll get ready for his 2nd inning of work.
Again, just a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard before we go. Chatham-Kent up 7-5 now on Kitchener in the bottom of the 7th. London and Toronto are 11-9 for the visitors in the top of the 6th, and Welland ahead of Hamilton 3-0.
Well, the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers there, sitting on 1 win, no losses on the season. Looks like they're going to make it 2. The Toronto Maple Leafs this year have played narrowly a few games, but this is their 3rd of the year. Would be 1-2 if they can't finish off that one. They've allowed 10 runs coming into this game, the most in the league for any team that isn't the Red Sox. So allowing 11 more there, and that bit of action to the majors is going to make that majors offense even more potent, the same way they've looked to start off this year. And you want to get that under control defensively there. If you are the Maple Leafs, and again, that big Game 7 tonight, I'm sure a lot of you watching at home are going to be enjoying that one. Throw on the, if you're out there in the YouTube digital chat there, maybe throw us some score predictions there. Curious to look at those later for that game against the Panthers tonight. But here he comes, Schmarter. He's been great in the field today at shortstop, and Edgar Garcia is going to try to deal with him on the offense.
0 for 3 thus far in this one.
The pitch. Schmarter going to put it right to the second baseman. A little bit of a bobble, but he's got plenty of time to work with. The throw will retire Schmarter. And a very long 7th inning, starting off pretty quick here in the 8th. Second batter is going to be Paulos, the center fielder.
Center fielder number 13, Ethan Paulos.
It wouldn't surprise me if from Garcia's arm if you just saw a whole bunch of gas. Just go all out, see what you can get, perhaps get the Red Sox off guard and try to get back to the dugout and let your offense try and get a big comeback here.
Well, that was like the pitfall there, I think, for the previous inning with, 2 innings ago with Deans, where he seemed like, pretty repetitive pitch mix. It felt like the batters, even if they hadn't faced him already, kind of knew what to expect. If Garcia can get that velocity up and get a little bit of movement and just kind of get this Red Sox offense guessing, that one's going to go in the dirt for 1-1.
Getting a little bit of an overthrow there.
The pitch. That one looked right down the middle. Home plate umpire agrees. That's going to be a 1-2.
And you see that a bit of at this level is pitchers trying to rear back, trying to find a little bit more gas to it.
That one's going to be chopped lightly towards the shortstop. He'll drop it again. I don't know if they've had a defensive substitution, but that will be the third error for the Royals in that shortstop position. I mean, if you're Dino Ramel, you really want to see this cracked down upon early in the year.
Well, listen, it is Tommy Hanger, and again, we mentioned that he's so young that, we kind of expect the errors to come, but yeah, 3 errors in this game by himself. I mean, that's just, you aren't winning, and it's 5 now total for this Royals squad, so make it 9 in 2 games, and that will not win you any game anywhere in baseball.
No, it will not. 1-0 pitch here for Garcia. Yeah, and for those of you, theory crafters at home, all 5 you mentioned there, 5 errors today, both by the third baseman and shortstop only. So that part of the field there, that left side of the infield, seeming a struggle here for the Royals defense. Garcia, the 2-0. That one's going to find the dirt. Now 3-0 here. Garcia's got a runner on first. Doesn't want to put him on second. But Brody Black doing a great job in his 5th appearance of the day, making Garcia earn those strikes. Taking a moment, dusting the ball off, getting ready for 3-0 here. Deals. All right, down the middle, gets back on it. And Brody Black is the one to let that one go by here on a 3-0 count. 3-1 now.
0 for 4 thus far, but did reach base with a hit by pitch and scored in that 7th inning in the last at bat.
The pitch, 3-1. He'll go around, and that just finds the zone, says home plate umpire. 3-2, full count now, one of many on the day. Garcia, pitch to Black, the Stoughville native. Full count. And a full swing. That's going to go against Brody Black. Swing the strikeout that time. Garcia gets himself on the board with a strike there. And, well, we got 2 outs in the inning. If you're the Royals, if you want to stop the bleeding, go for a Hamilton Cardinals versus Brantford Red Sox-esque 9th inning. Well, you want to limit the runs right now. So, doing a nice job there is Garcia. 1 runner on first, 2 outs. And that one will go by him. Vayu stands in, and had a substitution.
Torreson played the full games in both Hamilton and London. 2 for 8 this year.
Only playing the back half today, subbing in for the very successful Jeremy Vayu, as Garcia is going to put that one down for a 1-1. Torreson looking to get himself on the board. The pitch. That one struck straight off to the right. It's going to go foul. 1-2 count here. Garcia's 1 pitch away from ending his 8th inning. Talked about Dino Ramel wanting him to make it all the way to the end of the game. Well, it's keeping the pitch count low. He's at least giving himself a chance. Not particularly sure we'll need that bottom half for the 9th, but don't want to jinx it here for the Red Sox. That one is going to go, and a little bit low, and I'd imagine Torreson would argue it, but won't get a chance as he's retired. 8th inning's over. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 inning away for Brantford Red Sox. For the entire crew, we'll be back in just a moment here on the IBL YouTube or cable. See you in a moment. Hello, IBL. Hello, Brantford. Hello, Canada. And hello, Aiden Armitage taking over here for the Brantford Red Sox. He'll close for the 9th inning as the 8-1 lead the Brantford Red Sox have built up looks to maintain in order to get them their first home win of the season. The Guelph Royals looking to avoid their second loss early here in the campaign. Armitage has come in earlier in the season. I know that for a fact. And he's from Waterloo, Ontario. So a man after my own heart. We share a hometown. And he's a 3-year veteran here in the IBL. Played college at U of Waterloo.
Yeah, Armitage went to 1 2/3 in that game against London, suffering a loss, and then 2/3 of an inning against the Hamilton Cardinals just a couple of days ago. You can sum this game up with, 2 innings of offensive outbursts for this Brantford Red Sox squad, and that's how they have a snowman on home field.
First pitch from Armitage. That's a little bit wide, but it is in, and it is a strike. 0-1 here. Good start for Armitage here in the top of the 9th. Looking to close this one out.
0 for 3 is Ethan Hammond in this game, looking to get on base.
Would be a great time for Hammond's first hit. 0-1. That was a little bit outside. 1-1 there for Armitage.
Over 7 thus far this season, too, is Hammond.
6-1, 185 is Armitage, and he's got some good velocity here in these first 2 pitches. Once again, this time going to go just low, says the home plate umpire. 2-1 there for Aiden Armitage. Hammond looking at the 2-1 here. That one's close. The home plate umpire is going to give it to Armitage. He's going to get a 2-2 here.
Brantford went 9-3 last year when leading after 8 innings. So it is possible.
It's certainly possible. Not as high a number as you'd like, but that's favorable if you're a Brantford fan. And many of those, as that ball goes in the dirt for a full count here for Armitage, many of those I'd imagine not 7-point leads if I know the 2024 Red Sox season. So looking better this year. I mean, the offense, we talked about it, Jeff. It's coming back. If you're a Red Sox fan, you have a lot to be excited about. 2 close losses, looking like it may finally go the other way for you. Armitage, the 3-2. That one struck high and up. Slams the bat down. It's like he knows it's already caught. And now it is. The third baseman's going to make his way over. Tim Holick, he stayed in the entire time. No defensive sub needed. And that's why. First out of the inning. 2 batters left, and the Royals' chances. The coffin is shutting.
Catcher number 10.
Royals went 1 for 15 or 1 and 15 last year when trailing after the 8th inning.
Matthew Ward, number 10, he's getting ready. A lot on his shoulders here if you're a Guelph fan. First pitch for Armitage. That's a called strike there. Going to see an 0-1.
And I think, too, with the Red Sox having back-to-back 8-run games, I think that also proves to you that their offense is there now. Getting on base.
That one's tracking. The right fielder will make the catch. You love to see it. That one was hard to track for him, hard to track for us. That was well into foul territory. But he'll come down with it. Brody Black, another one of his excellent efforts there out in the field. And one more batter left. Burns will come in. He's the bottom of the order, but he's top of the priority list here for the Royals. They need a man on base, and they only got one more chance to do so.
Well, Black looked like he stumbled or something just in front of that track.
It's a diving catch that perhaps didn't need to be a diving catch, but an awesome effort there by him, even with the stumble. Getting the out. 1-0 here. Armitage goes wide off the plate.
And so you don't necessarily feel where that track is. You just know where it is.
The Red Sox fans in attendance might be looking at their first win of the season here in just a few moments. That one will go off the plate there as well, though. 2-0. Would be great to see a win here for the home fans here in Brantford. It's been a cold, cold day, and those that have braved their way all the way through it, they deserve to see their team succeed. The 2-0 to Burns. Oh, the 3-0, the dugout for Brantford. Thought they had that one. Home plate umpire Jacob Galvao disagrees. He's making the Red Sox earn this win. Now 3-0 for Armitage. .3-0, 2 outs to Burns. That one's close. They're going to give it to him. 3-1. Armitage is on the board in this at-bat. has a chance to fight back, get this one finished off. The pitch, that one going to go straight back to Armitage. Will have a chance at it. He should make the play to first base, and the Brantford Red Sox pick up their first win of the 2025 season. The 8-1 win. You talked about it there, Jeff. They had 8 last game. It went the wrong way. This time, it'll go their direction. Congrats to the Brantford Red Sox getting on the board. First win on the campaign. They'll go to 1-2 on the season. And for the Guelph Royals, they're left scratching their heads. They had no runs their first effort, 1 run their second. They're working their way there, Jeff, but 0-2 is not the way the defending finalists want to start their year.
No, obviously not, but this game is all about what the Brantford Red Sox did in terms of getting out in front. The Royals struck first back in the 4th inning, but the Red Sox did well in responding right away, and eventually they ended up with a loud 8-1 victory against a very game Royals team who, again, they start 0-2, but better things to come to them later in the season as they look to get back to the IBL final.
Well, to refresh those at home, if you're looking to see more IBL action for either of these two baseball teams, you're going to see Brantford playing Kitchener in Kitchener at Jack Couch Park on Thursday, May the 22nd. First pitch for that one should be sometime after 7:30. Same is true of the Guelph Royals heading to Barrie to take on the Barrie Baycats Thursday, May 22nd as well. The next game for both those teams. Jeff, it's been a pleasure today. I hope to see you back later in the season. Any final takeaways as you finish up your yours and mine first game of the season?
Real good game for the Red Sox, and it is a big win that they need to try and get themselves back into the winning column as they do, and it's going to be a good start. And again, as mentioned, this Guelph squad, they'll try to figure out what the problems were. Obviously, we know what the problems were. They had a little bit of problems on defense. They had a bit of problems in pitching, but everything will look up for them once they get some reinforcements in July.
Well, it was a great game today, especially if you're a Brantford Red Sox fan. We hope you enjoyed what you watched here today on the IBL channel here for the Brantford Red Sox. But if you're looking to catch more Brantford home baseball, the next game at home is the night after that away game on Thursday. It'll be Friday, May 23rd, taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs, who the other Maple Leafs have a big game tonight. Many of you are probably off to watch it, so we'll leave you before too long to go do that. But I want to say a quick thanks to our crew. A lot of volunteers make this possible out here in Brantford. We want to thank Noah, Ryan, and Neil out in the outfield and the first and third base lines doing their awesome camera work today. A couple of them faded out, but they were troopers. They stayed around even with the cold, and we thank them for all they do. I want to thank Brandon, doing an awesome job there as our director, producer. He's been exceptional at getting this new season of Brantford baseball up and running on the broadcast. And I want to thank Jeffrey Brando, joined alongside me for he and I's first game together, but it was a lot of fun. A great time here out in Brantford. We hope you watching at home enjoyed it as well. I'm Marshall Crocker. We want to thank you for joining us here on IBL Brantford Red Sox Baseball, live from the Arnold Anderson Stadium. We'll see you on the road on Thursday, and we'll see you back here on YouTube and on cable next Friday the 23rd. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the Leafs game.